A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
And now, the life of Mary Sothern. After many weary hours of waiting, Mary is reunited with her beloved husband, Max Sanders. Max proved himself a hero when he escaped from his burning cell block and drove a gasoline truck through a wall of fire. Although his bravery saved the lives of hundreds of his fellow prisoners, Max himself is gravely injured. If Max recovers, the warden intends accusing him of setting fire to the prison in an attempt to escape. Dr. Tracy, prison surgeon, has promised to help Dr. Benson thwart the warden's attempt to cover up his own mismanagement. Jenny, Max's friend, sacrificed his life in carrying the news that the warden had stored 500 pounds of highly inflammable celluloid next to the doomed cell block. Dr. Benson has moved Max from the prison to the nearby county hospital. The fire of the prison is now under control, thanks to the courage of Max Sanders. Mary is at Max's bedside in the county hospital. Max is swathed in bandages. Mary's eyes are dim with love and pity.
But Max, darling, it's like doing now.
Oh, it's darn foolish, Miss Tripp. Me wrapped up like a mummy. I don't like it either.
Of course you don't like it, dear. But you must do as Dr. Benson said. Now try to move. Don't try to
Don't
move.
worry, sweetheart. Don't worry. I'll stick around here for a while.
That's the spirit. Now, just take things easy. Huh?
Oh, I'll take it easy today. Tomorrow I'll get up and around. I got a lot of things to do.
Young man, you're staying right there in bed until Dr. Benson says you can get up.
Got a lot of things to say to Doc Benson. Is he around the place here somewhere?
Mm-hmm. Jones and surgery. Working on one of the prisoners.
Mary, you know, something happened to me in that prison, especially during the fire.
Well, Max, what do you mean?
Well, I don't quite know how to say it, Toots, but before I was railroaded to the big house, I always thought of prisoners as just so many numbers, so many gray uniforms. But since I've been on the inside looking out, well, I got a lot of new ideas. Those numbers, those uniforms, they're men. Men who breathe and think and want to be happy, just like the millions of people outside.
Max, dear, you're tiring yourself. Now, Dr. Benson said you mustn't talk.
He's all right, Pepper Roller. He's all right. He's a lot like Doc Tracy.
Yes, Max, I know.
Mm-hmm. I had a lot of talks with Doc Tracy. Straight from the shoulder stuff. He helped me make up my mind.
Make up your mind? How, Max, dear?
Well, just as soon as I get well, Toots, and serve out my visit in the big house, I'm going to see what I can do for the boys of it.
Oh, of course you will, Max. And I'll help all I can. Oh. Darling, you're getting drowsy. Come on now, lie back and try to get some sleep before Dr. Benson comes in for an examination.
I'm not sleepy. Just taking it easy. Everything hunky-dory. Couldn't be better.
Of course, darling, everything's hunky-dory. And in a few days, if you behave and do as Dr. Benson says, you'll be able to leave here
and go back to prison. That's the answer, Toots. You know as well as I do.
Max, dear, don't worry your head about that one little bit. You wouldn't be surprised if the governor gave you full pardon. You know, Dr. Tracy's gone to the Capitol to give the governor the whole story.
Think it'll do any good?
Yeah, of course, Max, of course. You know, the papers are full of your bravery in driving that gasoline truck through the fire.
That wasn't bravery, Toots. I was scared stiff, honest. I kept thinking of those men in the other cell block. Those guys were swell to me, Toots. I couldn't let them down. Not after Cheney got my message through to you. Me not knowing how you were taking the news.
I mean, when Cheney found John and me, well, You make Kenny look like an angel to us.
Kenny's hardly my idea of an angel. Say, why they do something they bring Cheney in here? Like to see him.
Well, I guess they didn't have room in here for Kenny, but don't you worry.
Plenty of room in here. Don't see why. Say, Kenny hurt working that thing?
Kenny's all right, darling. Now, you mustn't worry about him now. You've got to get well, and in a hurry.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with me now. Just hate to think anything happened to Kenny. We made a lot of plans, me and him, up there in the big house.
What sort of plans, Max?
Oh, he was going to wipe the slate clean this time. I was going to bring him into Sandra's interest with me, and later he thought he'd settle down, get married. Wants a girl like you, man.
Max, don't think.
What's the matter, kid?
Oh, listen, Max, don't mind me just nervous here. Just nervous.
Now, look, don't you go getting sick, Mary. You and I got a lot of work ahead of us. I've been thinking about a lot of things lying here, and someday soon I'm going to surprise you.
I'm sure you will, Max, darling. But my knees rest, and I've got to run along Laura Barton's driving me home.
She's a great girl, Laura. Go to wish Cheney could find himself a girlfriend like her.
No, darling, I'm strong. And keep the chin up, dear.
I can't do anything else, Ted. Well, there must be 50 yards of this stuff wrapped around my neck.
Oh, Max, you're adorable. Yes, I can picture.
Hey, that's not a bad idea, Ted. Just lift up the corner of this bandage, and here I am.
And there you are. Very nice, Mr. Sanders.
Plenty more where that came from.
No.
Mary, if you only knew.
If I only knew what, darling.
If you only knew how to touch me. Whenever I think of you, which is pretty much all the time.
Thank you.
Whenever I think about you, everything seems to be a lot more important. Makes me want to get things done so that you'll be happy. Have time to get out and have some fun.
You just get well in a hurry, sweetheart. That's all I need to make me happy. And Phyllis and twins, Daddy, Danny, all of us, everybody in Sanders is pregnant for you.
And I appreciate it, too, Ted. You know that. Yeah, I can't seem to keep my eyes open.
Oh, I'm being foolish and selfish, carrying you out like this. Well, I've got to go now, dear, but I'll be back.
Don't go now, Mary. Don't want to seem like a big baby, but, well, you know.
I know, Max, dear. I'll sit here and hold your hand so you just drop quietly off the floor.
I like old times, man. But I don't feel so. What's it going?
I'm going to sleep.
Good. We fell asleep at me.
Oh, boy, he's so tired.
I gave him several sedative an hour ago. It takes effect. You'll sleep for hours now.
Well, I've got to go now, Jerry. Laura Barton's driving me home.
I'll walk down the hall with you, Mary. I can have a case down there. Here, let me open that door. Now, what's that on?
Oh, it's nothing down here.
Oh, Mary. I hate to see you suffering this way. Over Max. Tough fair.
Just a little while ago, Max said something like that to me, John.
So it's true. Did he say anything about Cheney?
Wanted to know how Cheney hadn't been put in his room. I didn't know quite what to say.
You didn't tell him?
Oh, no. I changed the subject as quickly as I could. I don't think he suspects a thing.
I hope so. Talk of hearing that Cheney is dead would do Max a great deal of harm just now.
John, you and I have always been perfectly honest with each other.
Yes, of course, Mary.
Tell me the truth, John. Max is going to get well, isn't he?
No, I don't know yet. The burns are serious, and the fractured leg he got when he jumped from the cell window complicates things. But we've done all we can, and we'll keep on doing it.
I know you'll be safe and okay, John. Well, I've got to get back to Phyllis and the children.
Mary, I hate to see you go. We've been through so much together these last few weeks, you and I. I couldn't say this, I guess, but we seem to belong to each other.
Yes, John, I know how you feel. And you've been simply grand. And I'll never forget it, never.
Thanks, Mary.
You know, you must get back to your patient. And I've got to run. Laura's waiting for me.
Mary, before you go, there's something you might as well know. It has nothing to do with Max, but I had a telegram from Cartwright.
He says that Merlin Davis is threatened to get me fired from the clinic if his little niece doesn't recover soon. Dr. John Benson pays so great a price for his loyalty to Max and Mary Sandy. Does Gerald Proof have anything to do with Merlin Davis' threat?
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned the homicide detail. A man has been shot down on a street corner of your city. There's no apparent motive, no lead to the assailant. Your job, find him.
It was Tuesday, May 8th. It was cool in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of homicide details. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Lorman. My name's Friday. I was on my way over from the office, and it was 10:13 p.m. when I got to Georgia Street Receiving Hospital, the waiting room. Hi, Frank.
Joe?
How's he doing?
I don't know. I'll talk to Dr. Sebastian.
How's it look?
Well, not too good. Slugs embedded in his lung caused a hemorrhage. He's getting a transfusion.
What do you got on it?
I just talked to the guys who came in with him for a minute. They didn't have a lot.
No.
Call came in from a man who owns a newsstand at the corner of Normandy and Willowbrook.
See the witness?
Yeah.
Anything there?
I don't know. We'll have to talk to him.
What do you got on the victim?
Wait a minute. I got it here. Name's Matthew Denton. Address given is 18970 Taft Street in Hollywood.
Did you get in touch with anybody?
No, tried the house, but nobody was there.
Anything else?
Yeah, went over the personal property. Usual stuff. Cigarettes, lighter, comb.
Mm-hmm.
Found a diamond ring on the small finger left hand. Looks expensive. Gold wristwatch. $140 in cash. $1,300 in American Express checks.
Doesn't spell robbery, does it?
No. None of the stuff was disturbed.
Well, maybe you can tell us something, huh?
Yeah.
Joe, Frank.
Hi, Doc. How are you? How's it look?
What time you got?
10:16.
Make it 10:13. Close enough for the report.
What?
Time of death.
Matthew Trevor Denton, WMA, 31 years, 5'9", 164 pounds, had stopped living at 10:13 p.m. on May 8th. We didn't know who he was or why he died. Before we left the hospital, we put in a call to Denton's address, but we got no answer. We checked the name and description through R&I. There was no record on the dead man. At 10:48 p.m., we left Georgia Street and drove over to the scene of the shooting, where we talked to the witness, Andrew Cates.
Right over there is where it happened. The bus stop.
Uh-huh.
I was standing right here. Right here.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the whole thing happen.
Yes, sir. About what time was that, Mr. Cates?
Oh, I guess it was 9:30 or so.
I see.
I was just standing here, and bang, bang, 2 shots.
Did you see what led up to the shooting?
Well, what do you mean, let up?
Well, I mean, did you see what happened before?
Oh, yeah, whole thing.
Uh-huh. Would you tell us about it?
Sure.
All right. Go ahead.
Well, one of those nights where just nothing went right, you know what I mean.
Uh-huh.
I started off with my wife burning the coffee. I wouldn't think a person could do that, would you? Burn the coffee?
Would you like to go ahead?
I had a big argument before I left home. I just started off that way.
Yes, sir.
Got on here and took over.
About what time did you open the stand, sir?
Oh, I was 7:30 in the morning. Try to get breakfast business, you know. People on the way to eat. Stop off for early paper.
I see.
I try to get them.
All right.
I open her up in the morning, and then there's a school kid takes over for me about 3 in the afternoon. He's here around 6:30 when I come back from supper.
I see.
That's when she burned the coffee. Night supper.
All right. You want to tell us about the shooting?
Oh, sure. Kind of hard, you know. This is the first time for me.
How's that?
Well, it's the first time I've ever been a witness. First.
I see. What time did you first see the victim?
Man who was shot?
Yes, sir.
Well, I told you. It's about 9:30. The car pulled up to the curb, and this fellow got out. He kind of stood there for a minute, and he talked to the other fellow in the car. He just stood there a minute and talked, kind of leaned in the window.
Mm-hmm.
Car pulled away, and the one who got out,
Yeah.
he walked over and sat down on the bench like he was waiting for the bus.
Mr. Cates, you got a good look at the car he got out of?
I saw it, if that's what you mean.
Would you describe it for us?
It was a black Chevy. I'd say maybe a 52 or 53.
Sedan or coupe?
No, it was a sedan, 4-door. Nothing special about it.
Did you get a look at the man that was driving?
No, the light's kind of bad over there. You can see for yourself. The one fellow leaning in the car, I couldn't get a good look. I didn't pay a lot of attention to it anyway. It didn't seem anything to get all concerned about.
All right, sir. You want to go ahead?
Well, the fellow sat there for a minute, not doing nothing, just waiting. And this other car pulled up, right up the curb.
Mm-hmm.
One guy got out of the car, got right out, and walked over to the fellow sitting on the bench.
I see.
Oh, excuse me a minute, the customer.
All right, sir.
What do you think?
I don't know.
Old Bert always stops by same time. He gets one of each, same time every night. Good old Bert.
Yes, sir. I wonder if you go ahead with your story.
Oh, yeah. Well, this car pulled up and the fellow got out. He walked over to the bench, started talking to the first man. They got in an argument.
How do you know that?
What?
Well, how do you know they were arguing?
Well, I could see standing over there, waving their arms around. I could even hear some of the yelling. There wasn't no trick at all to see that they were having some kind of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Could you hear what the trouble was about?
No, just a lot of yelling and waving. Could hear no outright words.
Mm-hmm. You want to go ahead, please?
Well, next thing I knew was when the fellow got out of the car, started swinging at the other one.
That was the victim?
Yeah, one of them was shot.
All right.
Well, you just bet the guy tackled more than he could handle. The victim fellow started to clean up on this other one. He just started to mop up the street with it.
I see.
That's when the guy who was waiting in the car got out and went over to help his friend, you see.
Mm-hmm.
Three of them kind of struggled around for a while, then the one from the car pulled the gun. Bang, bang. 2 shots. First guy dropped right down on the sidewalk. The other 2 got in the car and took off. Went roaring down Normandy. That way.
Can you describe the second car?
Well, not too good. I just got a glance at it. I wasn't paying a lot of attention at first. The time I figured I should take a good look at it was gone.
I see. Now, how about the men driving it?
What do you want to know?
Can you describe them?
Not good.
Well, if you tell us just what you can, Mr. Cates, it'd help.
Sure. First one was a tall, lanky fellow. He didn't weigh much, sort of string bean.
Mm-hmm. How tall would you say?
Oh, I don't know, close to 6'3", maybe 6'2", round in there. He's a tall one.
About how old?
23, 25. I couldn't tell that too good.
I see. What about his coloring? Was he light or dark, do you remember?
Light. He was blonde.
How about his clothes?
He had on a pair of jeans. One of them jackets, made out of the same kind of material. Rivets like on them.
Mm-hmm.
Were real tight jeans. Both of them were wearing them.
Anything else you can tell us about the tall man?
No.
Was he the driver of the car?
Oh, yeah. He was the one who did the shooting, the tall fellow.
Could you see the gun?
Yeah, but not good.
Do you remember whether it was a revolver or an automatic?
Well, it looked like a revolver to me.
All right, now what about the other man?
He was shorter than the first one. No runt, but, shorter. Guess anybody looked small next to him.
About how tall was he?
Always about 5'9", 5'10". Give a couple, take a couple.
All right. How was he built?
Sort of light, maybe 140.
Anything else about the 2 men? Did either of them wear glasses, do you remember?
No, not so as I could see. He might have taken them off, before they got out of the car. Might have, but I didn't see him when the fight started.
Did either of them use a name that you could hear?
I told you before, I couldn't hear anything they said. There's just a lot of yelling when the fight started.
All right.
There wasn't anything special about the 2 fellows to make them stand out. One tall, the other short. No big reason to remember them.
Afraid you got it wrong, mister.
Huh?
We got a reason. We made arrangements for Andrew Cates to come down to the office and look through the mug books. The rest of the neighborhood was checked again, but we were unable to find anyone else who'd witnessed the shooting. While we'd been talking to Cates, a team of detectives from Homicide Detail had gone out to the victim's house. They didn't find anyone at home, but when they spoke to the neighbors, they were told that Matthew Denton's wife was in a hospital. Frank and I checked with her doctor and found out that she was in the maternity ward. He recommended that we delay talking to the woman as long as possible since she was in a weakened condition. From the hospital records, we found that Denton was employed by an advertising agency. We checked with the nurses on duty and found that he'd left the hospital with another man. They gave us a description of him, but they were unable to identify him for us. We asked that they call the office in the event the man returned to the hospital. Frank and I went back to the office and checked out. The next morning, Wednesday, at 8:40 a.m., we were back in the squad room. Yes, sir. You looking for somebody?
I'd like to see somebody about this story in the paper.
Which one is that, sir?
About the shooting last night, corner Normandy and Willowbrook.
All right. What did you want to talk about?
Are you the officers handling the case?
Yes, sir.
My name's Sterling Hall. I think maybe I can help you out.
All right. Want to have a seat, Mr. Hall?
Sure
here,
thing,
right here.
thanks.
Fine. Sit right here.
Thank you.
It's my partner, Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
How do you do, Mr. Smith?
All right. What do you got?
Well, it says here in the paper where Denton left the hospital with the man. It says you're looking for him.
That's right.
Well, you don't have to look no further. I'm him.
You were with Denton last night, were you?
Just said that.
All right. How long were you together?
Till about 9:30. They dropped him off at the bus stand right where he was shot.
Well, I don't wonder if you could start at the beginning and tell us the whole story, will you?
Sure thing. Well, you see, I got a lady friend, same hospital as Denton's wife. I was over there last night to say hello. I brought her a box of caramels and said hello.
Uh-huh.
Well, I was on my way out the place, and I stopped off for a cup of coffee in that little old shop they got there. You know, where they have the gifts, books on what to name the baby and all.
Yeah, I know it is.
Well, I was having a cup of coffee, and this here Denton come in. He wanted to buy a little plant for his wife. They just had a baby. Wanted to send her something.
I see.
Now, we got to talking and I had a cup of coffee. It turned out he didn't have his car, so I asked him if I could give him a ride home. He was kind of nervous and all. New father.
Yes, sir.
We left the hospital, and he said it wasn't necessary for me to take him all the way home. Said for me to just drop him off at the bus stand. Told me there was one went right near his house.
All right.
Well, on the way, we was following his car, and all of a sudden it stops. No signal, nothing. Just slams on the brakes, and we rammed into it. Well, didn't hardly do no damage to the other car. Broke one of my headlights is all, but didn't hurt the other car at all.
I see. Go
Now,
ahead.
two fellers got out, and they walked back, and they started a little ruckus. Said we was speeding and driving reckless, all that kind of stuff, real loud. And this Denton, he'd tell them to shove off. Said their car wasn't hurt at all, and said not to make a big thing out of it. He told them it was their fault anyway.
Were you still in the car?
No, we got out to see what damage had occurred.
I see.
These two guys started to get rugged now, like they wanted to start some real trouble, and Denton said if they wanted to make a problem out of it, the thing to do was to call the cops and make a complaint.
What'd they say to that?
Nothing, just said to forget it, and then they got in the car and shoved off.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I didn't see him again, but I got to thinking about it this morning when I saw the story in the paper. You think it might have been one of them two who shot Denton?
Well, we don't know, sir. Can you give us a description of the men?
Sure thing. Now, one of them was real tall. The other one was about my height.
It'd be about 5'8".
5'8" and 3/4.
All right. Can you give us a description of the car?
Yes, sir. It was a light blue Ford. One of them new ones, you know, with the plastic on top.
Yes, sir.
I took a good look at it. Matter of fact, I kind of thought there might be some trouble about the accident. I didn't want to be out on a limb with my insurance company, so I made sure.
Yeah.
I got the license number.
Well, I got a complete description of the two men. Frank checked DMV on the license number. 5 minutes later, he came back to the office.
Joe?
Yeah, you got it?
If you find out who the car belongs to, shouldn't be anything to pick up them two fellers.
It's not going to be that easy.
Hmm?
The car was stolen.
Before Frank and I left the office, we made arrangements for Sterling Hall to check the mug books in the hope that he might be able to identify the suspects. At 11:20 a.m., we drove over to talk to the registered owner of the stolen car. He told us that the vehicle had been taken from a parking lot the day before and that he'd made an immediate report on it to the police. Additional broadcasts were gotten out on the automobile and on the suspects. That afternoon, we drove over and talked to the victim's wife. She told us that the money and the express checks Denton had been carrying were for the payment of the hospital and the doctor bills. We questioned her about her husband's friends and associates. Although we had the story given us by Sterling Hall, it seemed unlikely that the man was killed as the result of an argument over a minor traffic accident. We spent the rest of the day interviewing people who knew the victim. From them, we learned that Denton was well-liked and was respected. He took an active interest in neighborhood clubs and events. The more we went into his background, the more convinced we became that he'd been killed by the men in the stolen Ford. 2 days passed. On Saturday, May 12th, the vehicle was found abandoned. A stakeout was placed on it, and when no one approached it, the crew from Leighton Prince went over the car. They found several partial fingerprints, but not enough for classification. The prints were photographed and held for evidence. Frank and I continued to work on the killing. A month went by without additional information turning up. On Tuesday, June 19th, we got a call from burglary detail. Yeah, No, nothing. Where'd he come from? Well, it might check out. No, we'll pick him up. Yeah. Okay, right, thanks. Mac over in burglary.
Yeah?
He says he just picked up a guy for receiving.
Uh-huh.
Tried to make a deal. Said if he got a break, he might be able to help us clean up something.
Say what it was?
Yeah, he did. The Denton killing. We left the office and we went over to room 45. We talked with the officers who'd picked up the suspect. They told us that they found a large quantity of stolen automobile supplies in his possession. We took him to the interrogation room for questioning. For almost an hour, he remained silent.
How about it, Keneally? Going to give us a hand? Keneally?
All right, come on, stand up. Let's go.
Giving up, huh?
No, we'll be back.
Where are you taking me?
Back to burglary, and they can book you.
Main jail?
Yep.
But you guys are all through with me, huh?
Yeah, for now. We'll talk to you again.
Well, you won't get any more.
Tell me something, will you?
What?
A little while ago, you said you knew something about a killing. Now you shut up and won't give us the time of day. Why?
I told that other cop if I got a break, you get one.
You know we can't make deals.
No, that's going to cost you.
You're going to take an installment.
How do you figure that?
You said you knew something about Matthew Denton's murder, isn't that right?
I don't remember that far back.
We do, and we can prove you did. You're up on a receiving rap now. That's bad enough. But if we can tag you with holding information, we'll make you as an accessory after the fact.
You mean you'll try?
I think we'll make it.
Well, from here, it's got another color.
Well, let's see how it comes out, huh? Come on, let's go. Down this way.
I know. What's the tab for being accessory?
5 years.
Okay, let's go back.
Huh?
I'll tell you all about it.
We returned Harold Keneally to the interrogation room. We put out a call to Gene Bechtel to come and take a statement. Keneally asked that we send out for some coffee for him. Frank went down the hall and brought back 3 cups. After he'd finished his, Keneally leaned back.
It's good coffee. Strong. I like it that way.
Yeah, well, now that you've had the clacks, let's start the story. What do you say?
Sure. What do you want to know?
Who are the 2 men?
I don't know.
Are you going to start this all over again, are you?
I'm giving it to you on the line. I don't know who they are.
What do you know about them?
Not much. A couple of guys are doing pretty good with radios.
You one of their customers?
Yeah, me and a half a dozen others.
You know who they are?
Well, you're not going to get the names.
All right, let's get back to 2 men. Why do you think they had something to do with Denton?
Well, about 3 weeks ago, they was in my place, had 5 new radios, the kind with the bar to pick the stations, you know, like the new cads.
Yeah, I know.
I had 5 of them, want to turn them over.
Yeah.
Well, the price they were asking was way out. I told them so they'd have to find someplace else to drop them.
All right.
Told me there was a beef, they had to get out of town, so they needed the money to swing it.
That still doesn't add up to Denton's killers, does it?
Well, it will.
All right, come on, tell us.
Well, I went out of the office for a couple of minutes, told them I had to make a phone call.
Yeah.
I got a mic hidden in the room, found out it helps in business once in a while. I turned it on and listened to the guys talk.
Go ahead.
They were yakking about some guy that got shot. The big fellow was saying there wasn't no other way to handle it, so that he didn't like it either, but there just wasn't any other way. Big thing then was to get some money and just beat town.
Mm-hmm.
I waited outside for a couple more minutes. They didn't say anything, so I went back in. I told them I couldn't swing the radio deal.
What'd they do then?
Well, they said they had to dump him someplace. If I couldn't take him, they'd find somebody who would. Told them to go ahead.
And what do these guys look like?
A couple of bums, one tall, the other short, wearing those jeans with the coats made out of the same cloth, you know.
You had dealings with them before?
Yeah, a couple of times.
You know their name?
No. All I know is the big one's called Dusty. I don't know the last part.
How about the other one?
Nothing there.
Anything else about them?
Oh, they're both lushes.
Yeah.
The big one is Dusty. Always got a flask on his hip.
You mean a bottle, huh?
No, a metal flask like they used in Prohibition. This one's all beat up, dented. It's all dirty. But I never seen Dusty without it. Both of them all the time nipping at it.
All right.
You know where these guys live?
No, someplace downtown. They got a pad there. I don't know where it is, though.
How do you know it's downtown, then?
Well, I don't know for sure. It's just a guess.
Did you ever hear either one of them say anything about a job?
Not those 2. They never done a day's work in their lives. The only thing they're good at is lifting radios. They wouldn't work steady if stealing was legal.
Is that all they take, radios?
All I've ever seen. Guess they got a gimmick. Figure they can make a living with them. Why change?
Mm-hmm.
I guess they do pretty good. I don't know. I paid them enough times.
All right, anything else you can tell us?
No.
They work with anybody else, do you know?
Not that I've ever heard.
How about close friends?
None.
They say when they'd be back to your place?
No, they don't have a regular route. When they pick up some things, they come in. If they got nothing to sell, I don't see them.
When'd you see them last?
The time I told you about.
They still around?
Well, I don't know. Rumble says they are. I haven't seen them myself.
You know where we can reach them?
No, you don't make an appointment with them.
You know if these guys have ever been arrested?
Well, we never talked about it. Where they seem to feel about cops, though, you sure figure they fell.
They from L.A., do you know?
I don't think so. Never heard them say. Only done business with them a couple of times. We never got real buddy-buddy.
Mm-hmm.
They don't go to that chummy set much.
All right, Keneally. Anything more you want to tell us?
I guess that's it.
All right, come on. Why don't you check the books?
Yeah. Hey, can you spring another cup of that coffee? It's sure good. About the best I ever tasted. Hey, wait a minute.
Yeah?
There's one more thing about the guys you're after.
All right.
Take it easy with them. Like I told you, they're both lushes. I think they're off their rockers.
Yeah, we'll watch it.
Well, you better. They're packing heavy.
Yeah.
Any way you slice it, they're loaded.
Harold Keneally went through the mug books, but he was unable to find a picture of the 2 suspects. The name Dusty was checked to the moniker file without result. Information was forwarded to George Brereton up at CII Sacramento, and a supplemental APB was gotten out. We spent the rest of the day with officers from burglary detail going over reports. We found that they'd been working on a string of car radio thefts for the past several weeks. When we compared notes with them, it seemed more than possible that their two suspects were the same men we wanted for the killing of Matthew Denton. However, they were no closer to the men than we were. From the reports, we were able to figure that the pair was still in Los Angeles. That evening, we met with Captain Lorman, Captain Bernard, and Chief Detective Thad Brown. We worked out a system of rolling stakeouts that would cover most of the territory where the thieves had been working. 3 additional teams of men from burglary were assigned to help us, and on Wednesday, June 20th, the operation was started. For 3 days, there was no action. Thefts from autos continued, but when they were checked out, the method of operation used eliminated any suspects that we were looking for. On Sunday, June 24th, we got a call that a man answering the descriptions of one of the thieves had been seen in the vicinity of Beverly Boulevard and Elmwood Avenue. Frank and I left our position in the stakeout, and we drove out to the area.
Should be a couple of more blocks.
Yeah, we just passed Ridgewood Place. You better take it easy next block when you start cruising.
Yeah. See anything?
No. Want to take a left here?
All right. Doesn't look like it.
Well, let's go up a couple more blocks.
All right. Sure be a break if we nail him tonight.
Yeah.
A little rough on the study time.
How's it going?
Oh, I don't know, Joe. Times I don't think I'm ever going to make sergeant.
What are you doing now?
You mean studying?
Yeah.
Legal procedure.
Well, you should know that.
Well, the practical stuff, yeah. Putting it into legal language, it makes it rough on me.
Yeah, I had the same trouble.
I haven't been able to hit the books for the past week.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
No, nothing. Keep going. What'd you say?
I said I hadn't hit the books. I missed a couple of lectures, too.
Well, you're never going to make it that way.
That's what Faye says.
Wait a minute.
Huh?
Slow down.
What do you got?
Up there. See? Next block on the left. About 50 feet on the other side of the street line.
Well, I don't see anything.
Looked to me like somebody trying to get into a car. I'm not sure.
Well, let's check it.
All right. Just up ahead there.
Yeah. See anything?
Well, looked like somebody on the other side. Better pull up. We'll take a look.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
I'll cover the other side.
Take it easy. If it's the one we want, they're heavy.
All right.
All right, mister, let's hold it right there.
What?
Stand where you are.
You talking to me?
That's right.
What are you causing me trouble for? I didn't do nothing.
We didn't say you did.
How about it, mister? This your car?
Certainly it's my car. Who do you think it belonged to?
You got the white slip?
It's in the machine. It's right out in plain sight where it's supposed to be.
You've been drinking, haven't you?
Small wonder you officers don't do better at solving crimes. I had a couple, yeah.
What's your name?
I don't see that's any business of yours. All I'm trying to do is get into my car. I'm not causing any trouble.
What's your name?
It's Kyle, Peter Kyle.
You got the keys to this car?
Matter of fact, I haven't. That's why I'm having so much trouble getting in. If I had the keys, I could just flip the door open and drive off.
Frank?
Yeah.
Here, what are you doing?
Just want to see what you're carrying.
Watch it, Joe.
All right, mister, come on. Get up.
What? I'm doing like you say I'm doing.
Try it again, Frank.
Yeah. Come on. Put your hands back. He's clean, Joe.
All right. Turn around.
I didn't mean to do it. I didn't mean to shoot.
Yeah, sure.
Honest, you gotta believe me. I didn't mean it.
Come on down here under the light. All right, now stand still.
Yeah, matches the description pretty good.
Where's your partner?
I didn't mean to do it. It was an accident. I just hit the guy. I just got in a fight with him. Dusty did the shooting. He did it. I didn't. I just got in a
All
fight.
right, now calm down. Where is he?
I knew you'd catch us. I knew it all the time. I kept telling Dusty we had to get out of town. We got to go. I kept telling him. All the time I was telling him.
Well, where is he?
Home.
Where's that?
He's the one who did it. I just got in a fight. Dusty's the one who shot, not me.
Where do you live, mister?
Down on 4th. That's where old Dusty is. Old, safe Dusty. He said we didn't have to leave. He said you'd never catch us.
All right, let's go.
Old Dusty is always right. Always knows what he's doing all the time. Never makes a mistake. Not old Dusty.
Yeah, well, he made one this time, didn't he?
Peter Gregory Kyle and Jesse Haywood Poole were tried and convicted of murder in the second degree and petty theft, 18 counts. They received punishment as prescribed by law. Petty theft is punishable by imprisonment for a period of not more than 1 year in the county jail. Second-degree murder is punishable by imprisonment for a period of from 5 years to life.
Dragnet,
is a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
Novak For Hire.
Sure, I'm Pat Novak For Hire. That's what the sign out in front of my office says. Pat Novak For Hire. Down on the waterfront in San Francisco, billing doesn't mean much. Everybody's got the same act. They're all out to turn a fast buck, and when you're in business down here, everything but murder is a parlor trick. Once in a while, your eyelids get sore from winking it too much, but it's a living. You get to meet the best people in town. There's only one hooker you're liable to wake up some morning dead. Because around the waterfront, you don't need a union card for trouble. It sneaks up and paws you like a wet ghost. I found that out when I met Bruno Weiss. I closed up early Tuesday night, and I went home to catch up on last month's sleep. I don't know how long I was in bed. Must have been about 11 when I woke up. The room was dark and as stale as last year's Christmas candy. I had the goofy feeling that somebody was in the room with me. I was breathing kind of hard, and I stopped to have a listen. Somebody was sitting on my bed. Either that or the landlord had put in an echo. I listened again.
Hello, Novak.
You're mixed up, friend. I pay the rent here.
Get your hands away from the light, Novak. Just be a good boy, and you can collect your old age pension.
Now, look, I'm not crazy about waking up with strangers sitting on my bed, especially if they got baritone voices. Now, say your piece and beat it.
Don't get jumpy, mister. When your eyes get used to the dark, you're going to see a gun about a foot away from your nostrils. I want the keys to your boat, Novak.
Get them in the morning at $25 a smell.
I want them now. Just tell me where they are. I'll do the rest.
Don't get big-hearted.
I don't want chatter and cocktails. I want those keys. Unless you want your face to look like a rump roast, you'll start talking.
The keys are in the bottom drawer of the desk.
That's the boy. Gonna bother your boat a while. You'll get it back by noon tomorrow. There's the boat keys.
2 of them are. The rest open the front door of the U.S. Mint.
Sorry I can't stay around, Novak. You sound like a card. Sleep tight, Novak. This'll have to do for a lullaby.
He didn't even give me time to pick a dream. I stretched out on the floor as dead as a Philadelphia nightclub. I don't know how long I stayed out of the ball game. Must have been a couple of hours. because when the phone rang, it was past midnight. I reached over to pick it up, but my hands were as steady as a maple leaf in a hurricane, and my head was big enough to sell by the pound. I finally found it in the dark and started talking. Hello?
Hello, Novak. This is Joe Powers down at Pier 19. You awake?
Sure.
Hey, you just sound groggy.
Oh, it's a sedative. What's on your mind?
One of your boats just drifted in. Guess what?
I don't have to. It's smashed up, and you want to offer me $50 salvage.
Hey, that's right, Novak. Just like it.
I'm a patsy, you mean? Some gunsel borrowed the boat a couple of hours ago. Came in here, told me a bedtime story, and took the keys.
Well, you better hop right down here.
It'll keep, Joe.
No, it won't. Hurry up or you'll run a dead heat with homicide. There's a dead guy in the boat.
Well, it must be my playmate.
I don't know. He didn't say. But you better grab a cab and get on down here. There's going to be a lot of questions.
Sure. If you meet any good answers, save a couple for me. From now on, there was no waste motion. I knew that. If homicide was on the case, that meant Inspector Hellman. Well, he's a real nice guy, if you like his type. I had to do something soon. If I didn't, I'd have about as much chance as a pound of liver at a cat show. So I jumped into some clothes, and I was starting out of the apartment when I missed my wallet. The keys were attached, and that gunsel had taken the whole works. I began to get mad. For $70, you can get a Scotch hangover instead of the kind I had. And if you're lucky, a couple of good memories. So when I drew up at Pier 19, it didn't look like the sunny side of the street. Joe Powers was waiting for me.
You got the first round, Patsy. Homicide hasn't showed yet.
I'm full of luck tonight. Where's the boat?
Oh, right over here.
Lots of fog tonight, huh, Joe?
You're walking on it. Well, that is. How's your insurance, Patsy?
All right, except I'm not carrying any on that dead guy. Who is he, Joe?
I don't know. He's your passenger. You roll him.
All right, give me a hand. No, push him over on the other side, will you, so I can get in the pocket?
Is he the same guy that took the keys?
I don't know. If he is, he never looked lovelier. There's nothing in this pocket. This one's empty except for a comb. He sure spent my $70 in a hurry. Must have thrown in the wallet for a nightcap.
No identification.
We should have bought a scorecard.
Hey, here on the floor. It's a key.
Let me see that, Joe. Room 425, Royal Arms Hotel.
Where is it?
That's a dive down on Turk Street. Well, say hello to homicide for me.
Oh, you're not bright tonight, Novak.
Well, I'm not going to stay around here. They'll pick me up faster than a gin fizz.
Well, what am I going to tell them?
Anything you like, Joe. Shift into freewheeling and let them follow, but I'm not going to hang around for a pinch. I'm one boat and $70 short.
Tell it to homicide.
I don't like manual labor that much. See you later. I started for the Royal Arms Hotel, and on the way, I picked up the only honest guy I know, a bottle baby by the name of Jocko Madigan. He's a good man, except he thinks it's a waste of the taxpayers' money to put alcohol in torpedoes. I hauled him out of the Hunt Room bar, and we walked down the street to the Royal Arms Hotel. It was the perfect spot for a missionary. The lobby looked like the first act of Rain. There was a pinball machine in one corner, a couple of last year's girls in this year's slacks, and a bleary-eyed little night clerk. He looked like a well-groomed laundry bag, and he gave us the fisheye as we started upstairs. Room 425 was down at the end of the hall. Jocko didn't care if we ever got there.
Patsy, we have no business coming up here. We're in search of fool's gold.
We're in search of my $70.
Exactly. I view you as my penance, Patsy, the sackcloth for a misspent life.
If you can shake off that buzz, you'll find out I'm in trouble.
You'll always be in trouble because you're a patsy, and you're dangerous because you move in the twilight zone between good and evil without any predisposition toward either one.
Yeah, all right. Here it is. 425. Nobody home. Let's go in.
It's housebreaking.
Now, look, Jocko, I want my $70. I'm going in.
Patsy, sometimes you terrify me. I think you'd pick the lock to the gates of heaven.
I would if they had my $70. Come on. The guy's dead down in my boat. We won't hurt his feelings. We'll just nose around a minute and get up. It was a pretty room if you like dead women on your rugs. She was stretched out in a pale yellow dressing gown, as quiet as an April morning and twice as pretty. A dull red scar ran across her temple where somebody had laid an iron shovel. She didn't belong in this hotel because she was wearing a necklace and a bracelet that left a gap in somebody's pocket. And from the ringside, she looked all right. Jocko noticed it, too.
She has lots of character.
Yeah, but where's my $70?
She's a nightclub dancer.
How do you know?
Her picture's plastered all over the wall there. She's the headliner at El Palateo, Miss Rita Malloy.
I wonder who the guy on the desk is there.
Boyfriend, probably. Let's get out of here, Patsy.
Oh, wait a minute. How about that dead guy in the boat? Where does he fit in?
I'll listen to that one, Novak.
Oh, Hellman.
What happened to the girl? She die laughing at you?
It's Rita Malloy, a piece of change from the El Palateo.
Uh-huh. Got a hat, Novak?
No.
Then you're all ready. Come on.
Oh, get your brain lined up and look at her. She's been dead a couple of hours.
You're still eligible, Novak. On your way down, you can explain that guy at Pier 19.
Oh, you can't be that dumb, Hellman.
I'm smart enough to see you peeking over the 8-ball. You look like a 10-to-1 shot, Novak, and I got my money on you all the way.
If you're going to make this thing add up, you can't do it alone.
I'll try.
Well, that's what Furpo said. So I don't look good on this one. I'll look worse if I leave it up to you. You couldn't find a hangnail if you knew what hand it was on.
You got 24 hours, Novak. I'm going to piece things together, and then I'm going to make a pinch. Pick out a soft spot.
Yeah?
Yeah. Stay near the phone. If it rings and a man answers, that'll be homicide. Good night.
Hellman was right. I looked like a sure bet for the rotogravure section. I was beginning to run out of silver linings, and I knew it. I didn't have an answer for anything. The guy in the boat was still a stranger, and Rita Malloy was still dead. I was sitting in the middle of a high-stake game with a pair of trays. When we left the hotel room, I had the funny feeling that there was something wrong back there. I didn't know what. I just knew there was something wrong, the way you feel when you pick up the wrong hat and put it on. The position of the body, those pictures on the desk, I didn't know, but there was one detail that didn't set right. Well, I told Jocko to hang around headquarters, and I started for the El Palateo. It was like all the rest. A little melancholy bar on Mason. A fire trap with a cover charge. The decor looked like early Franco. The floor show was on as I fought my way up to the bar. Excuse me, please. I'm sorry, lady. Can I get through here, please? How about a drink?
Your idea. What do you want?
Scotch.
Soda or water?
Water. You got a nice club here.
We like it. 80 cents.
Too bad about Rita Malloy.
Yeah?
You don't seem heartbroken about it.
I'm not a mother. 80 cents.
Anything wrong, Eddie?
No, boss. This guy's crying in his beer about Rita Malloy.
Oh. I'm Manny Ryan.
You own the club?
A piece of it.
My name's Novak. Call me Patsy at the moment. The police think I killed Rita Malloy.
When you go on trial, Mr. Novak?
I don't. That's why I came down here to find out which one of your people killed her.
I see.
She was mixed up to her ears with some thick hoodlum.
You, Mr. Novak?
No, a guy right out of your set. He came rolling in with the tide this morning, playing rigor mortis all over my boat.
Look, Novak, you better go see someone else to tell your troubles to. I'm a busy man.
Yeah, well, so am I, getting out of a murder rap. You knew her, Ryan. In fact, I got an idea you knew her pretty well.
Let's not talk that way about the dead.
Your pictures splattered all over her apartment. Were you engaged to her?
That's one way of putting it.
You better have a big fat alibi ready for tonight. Homicide's going to think you killed her.
I'm betting on you for the finals, Novak. I don't need an alibi. She was a friend of mine.
That's why you need one. People just hate their enemies, but they kill their friends.
You better stay out of the public library, Patsy. You're not smart enough to understand epigrams.
I'm smart enough to find out where you were from 10 o'clock until midnight.
Go ahead. Circle around the club. But keep a drink in your hand. We run for profit.
I didn't get much out of the doorman. He wanted a first mortgage to talk, but one of the busboys opened up. He told me that Ryan and the girl had brawled the night before. Also, that Ryan left the club for about an hour tonight. Well, I put him on the list anyway. But it began to look more and more like a one-horse race. Well, I got one other lead. A clarinet player in the band wanted to harmonize with Rita Malloy, but there wasn't much else to go on. And then I spotted the gal who had taken Rita Malloy's job in the show. She was just finishing her number, and so I followed her back to a dressing room. When she opened the door, I got a nice warm feeling like a melted cheese sandwich, and I was looking around for a rope to hang on. She was pretty. And when she said hello, you knew it was time to send in the varsity.
Good evening.
For some people, you mind if I come in?
It's late in the season. I can't be choosy.
All right. I'm Pat Novak.
I'm Tony Drake. What do I do, tremble?
Talk, mostly. Did you know Rita Malloy?
Around here, that was an occupational hazard.
The police think I killed her.
Did you?
No. When I got there, they were tearing down the goalposts.
Oh, that's too bad. I'd have been very grateful.
It's something I'd like to try.
Are you switching the topic, Mr. Novak, or have I been in the big city too long?
I just want to know who killed her. You got any ideas?
Nope.
How about your boss?
Maybe. She was getting a little frayed around the edges.
How's his temper?
No worse than a cobra's. He might have done it, but I doubt it.
Anybody else?
He was putting in a little overtime with a thug.
Not a big, porky guy with a deep voice?
I never saw him. I just heard that he was trying.
Must have been quite a line. Anybody else? How about that clarinet player?
No play. He was just a salmon swimming upstream.
I see. Well, do me a favor, will you, Tony?
All right. You only get one, so make it a good one.
They're tailoring me for a trip over the hill unless I show up with a fistful of answers. Now, can you give me a list of all of Rita Malloy's friends?
I can write them all down on a piece of confetti.
I mean, everybody close to her. The people around the club here, the people on the outside. I'll pick it up in a half hour at your apartment.
At my apartment?
Yeah, at your apartment.
All right, don't get sore. I was just inquiring, not complaining.
All right. One other thing, Angel.
Yes, Patsy?
Don't forget to put yourself on that list. Be seeing you. Well, it was good to get out of there. When she started walking towards you, you felt like a shovel full of scrap iron in a Pittsburgh blast furnace. Well, I called up Jocko at headquarters. He didn't seem to be worried about me. He was thirsty. The guy on the boat hadn't been identified yet. The coroner said he died of severe bruises and that Rita Malloy checked out with a fractured skull. I gave Jocko Tony Drake's number, and I started for her apartment. I couldn't have done better with Aladdin's lamp. She had the list and a bottle on hand. I went over the list with her, and then it turned out she had insomnia. The radio was turned down to room temperature. I was working on my fifth drink when the phone rang.
Oh, let it ring, Patsy.
Oh, I better get it, baby.
I think you're a sissy.
No, prison pallor wouldn't look good on me. Hello?
Patsy?
Yeah?
Are you busy?
Well, depends on your point of view. What's up?
I'm not tearing you away from that list of suspects.
Let's have it, Jocko.
They just identified the dead guy on your boat. His name is Bruno Schweiss. He's wanted in Miami, Florida. He's a hired gunman.
Good. Now jump over and see Paul Stangl at the Chronicle Morgue, huh?
I already have. There's no tie-up between Bruno Schweiss and Rita Malloy.
There's gotta be. Those two killings are tied up like ham and eggs.
Hellman just got a report from the Harbor Patrol. They found a buoy knocked out of place. They figure your boat did it and Bruno got killed in the crash.
What does that do to things?
It clarifies them enormously. This way you're going to hang for only one murder. Good night, lover.
I knew Jocko was right. Hellman could rig me as long as he had only one case to work on. He's a single-celled animal, and this was just about big enough to fit into his brain. Well, I left Tony's apartment, and I walked over to the El Palateo. Must have been about 4 o'clock in the morning. It was still dark enough for me to kick in a back window without being seen. I headed straight for Manny Ryan's office, and I started going through his stuff. It was like trying to separate a ton of salt and sugar dumped in the same bin. I went through most of the drawers, and in the last one, I got a hold of something. I grabbed the phone on Ryan's desk, and I called Hellman. Well, I wasn't sure, but I figured he could try this one on for size anyway.
Police headquarters.
Give me Hellman and Homicide. Yeah. They must have put their best men on his trail because they found him inside a half hour.
Hello, Novak.
I'm in Manny Ryan's office. He owns the El Palateo. I just rifled his desk.
It's a minor offense for you.
I got a hold of last month's phone bill. Guess what?
It's too high.
The office put through 2 calls to Key West, Florida, the last part of this month.
4 o'clock. I'm barely interested. Go ahead.
Bruno's Weiss hired out as a gunman. San Francisco is a long way from home plate. That means somebody sent for him.
And you're trying to put the finger on Manny Ryan.
That's right. That silver frame you picked up at Rita Malloy's, take a look at the guy in it. That's her boyfriend, Manny Ryan.
We'll check on it. In the meantime, keep squirming, Novak. You look pretty.
Oh, you're smooth, Hellman.
Smart talk's not going to keep you out of the chair, Novak. Stay handy. We've only got a short extension cord.
Yeah, well... Hello, Hellman. Hello, Lupos? Frank, is Jocko Madigan there? Good. Put him on, huh? Hello, Jocko. Now, listen. I'm up at Manny Ryan's place. Yeah, that's right. I'm not sure, but I think that Ryan's the... My head must have looked like a jackpot. Everybody in town was hitting it. I rolled over and played dead for about 5 hours. It feels better when you've had a dress rehearsal. I woke up in my apartment. The sun was streaming through the window and hit the bed. I looked like the muslin counter after a sale. It turned out I was the host and didn't know it. Jocko was sitting at the table having breakfast. The bottle was almost half shot.
Good morning. How's the other world?
Can't you leave that stuff alone?
Do you have a headache?
Of course I have a headache.
Well, I haven't, so stop lecturing me.
How'd I get up here?
I dragged you here by the heels. I met all the other hucksters on the way.
All right, stop being funny and help me up, huh?
I am the victim of a common error. You don't like me because I'm not entertaining when I drink. You don't object to my drinking. You object to my lack of wit.
Oh, shut up.
Well, it's discouraging to be condemned on moral principle when it's really a flaw in nature. By the way, I think they're going to arrest you for the murder of Rita Malloy.
What about Ryan?
I've recommended clemency.
All right, come on. What about Ryan?
You bungled it. By the time Hellman got to him, he had an alibi all framed. The calls to Key West could have been made by anybody in the club, and Ryan's covered for the time of the murder.
How about the others?
They look good, too. Your girlfriend, Tony Drake, was gone for a while the night of the murder. Hellman won't bite. She's just sitting there ready to spring an alibi.
That's right. With legs like that, she can dig up a cousin.
You better get worried, Patsy.
I am. The El Palateo is a dead-end street. I don't know where to go from there. That guy Bruno in the boat could help. There's some connection between Bruno's Weiss and Rita Malloy.
You're the only connection I can think of.
Yeah.
Hello, Novak. This is Hellman.
Yeah?
You were right about Bruno's Weiss and Rita Malloy. We just went through her safety deposit box.
I'll bet you handled the money.
She had a clipping on Bruno's Weiss from a Miami paper, 1937.
Go on.
Divorce action between Weiss and Miss Olga Pryor.
Well, did you look up Olga Pryor?
That's where we run out of gas. Nobody knew her. We have no description.
Well, how about Rita Malloy? Any dope on her before 1937?
I was going to ask you. You were in the room with her when she died, don't you know?
No, I don't.
I'm disappointed. I figured you'd know a little about her habits.
Huh?
You wrote the book, mister. I figured you for an answer.
Yeah, I got one. And you just gave it to me, Hellman.
Huh?
Meet me at the El Palateo in a half hour. Now, if you're a real good boy, I'll tell you who killed Rita Malloy.
Are you going to be there?
Yeah.
That's all I want to know, Novak.
Things were falling into place like a fixed roulette wheel. Right from the first, I knew that there was something goofy about the picture in Rita Malloy's hotel room. I wasn't sure. I just knew I had something in the back of my mind. I didn't tumble until Hellman tipped the mitt. And then everything was cakes and ale. I sent Jocko up to room 425 in the Royal Arms Hotel, and I told him to get a description of every dress in the closet. I checked at the desk, and I got the name of Rita Malloy's cleaners. I ducked over there, and I got a list of every dress that she turned in for 3 months. I met Jocko, and we compared the list of dresses. Well, it jibed fine, except for one thing. There was a missing white dress. It had been to the cleaners before. It wasn't there now, and it wasn't in that hotel room. Well, we went over to the El Palateo to find it. Jocko didn't want to buy the scheme at all.
Patsy, I protest the notion of breaking into a lady's dressing room.
Stop worrying, will you? She's not going to be there.
Then it's futile as well as immodest. Besides, how do you know Rita didn't throw away the dress?
I'll give you better than track odds on that one, Jocko. Here we are. Come on. Now, look, you take the closets and find that white dress. I'm going through the desk for grease paint.
You should be going through a woman's closet. It's more in the nature of things.
Just look, huh? There's enough grease paint here for the whole Iroquois tribe. Did you find anything?
Yes. What's this?
Just look for the white dress, Jocko. Hey, what's that in the corner?
Where?
Over here.
I don't see anything.
Well, down here, look, see?
Oh.
Well. That feels good, doesn't it, Jocko? Like a spell of perfect weather.
Same grease paint?
Well, it won't take us long to check. Here, you open a couple of these jars.
Don't forget your apron, Patsy.
Hello, Tony.
What are you doing?
Getting ready to build a fire under you? You're going to make nice smoke, too.
I liked you better when you were dumb, Patsy. You don't look good with a Ph.D.
Oh, put away the gun, baby. Remember, this is your second trip to the plate.
Give me the dress, Patsy.
It won't fit.
Don't worry about that. Just toss it over by the door here.
I'll do better. I'll bring
Stay
it.
where you are, Patsy.
It's my ticket out, chum.
You're a good guy, Patsy. Stay out of my way.
It's your role, baby.
Patsy, please stay away from me.
Come on, give me that gun.
Patsy, please.
Give me that gun.
Sorry, Patsy. That's all I could do.
Yeah, sure. You want to take a look at her, Jocko?
Put her down on the floor.
Yeah. What do you say, Jocko?
No dice.
Well, you can't win them all, Tony.
You play too rough, Patsy.
You still got a good batting average, Novak.
Hello, Hellman. You better make a fast pinch.
She do it?
Yeah.
She got kind of clumsy in the last round, didn't she?
Not at all, Copper. They had me coming and going. When you're as far back as I am, they don't pick up the option.
Let's get out of here, Jocko. I'll check with you later, Hellman.
Be a good boy, Patsy. I'm going to miss you. You were getting to be my favorite hobby.
Yeah.
I don't know how you were on the distance stuff, but you were sure something on the sprints.
Yeah. Be nice to her, Copper. She could go in the mud herself. Well, it was blackmail, of course. Tony was once married to Bruno's wife. Rita Malloy found out and started to squeeze Tony. Well, Tony wouldn't buy that, so she killed Rita Malloy in her hotel room. She made one mistake. I didn't tumble until Hellman mentioned a woman's habits. Then I knew what was wrong with that picture back in Malloy's hotel room. It hit me like a discordant note in music. Rita Malloy was lying on the floor in a dressing gown, but she was still wearing her bracelet and necklace. Well, when a woman undresses, she always takes her jewelry off first, and then she takes off her dress. Rita Malloy didn't do that, so I took a flyer and decided that somebody had taken the dress off her and put on a dressing gown. Why? Well, because there was something wrong with the dress. It pointed too much in one direction. Well, it could be a lot of things, but probably grease paint. Tony called Bruno out here. He was supposed to use my boat to dump the body, and when he didn't make it, Tony got scared and lugged away the dress. My $70? Well, it would have looked better on a fixed fight. Well, Hellman asked only one question. How did I happen to know that when a woman undresses, she always takes off her jewelry first? I must have read it somewhere.
The Armed Forces Radio Service has just brought you Pat Novak For Hire, starring Jack Webb. Pat Novak is produced by William P. Russo. Jocko Madigan is played by Tudor Owen. Inspector Hellman is played by Raymond Burr. Music was composed and conducted by Basil Adler. Be with us again next week when over most of these same stations we'll bring you Pat Novak for Hire. Pat Novak for Hire was previously released by ABC, the American Broadcasting Company, for listeners in the United States, and rebroadcast for our men and women overseas. This is the United States Armed Forces Radio Service, the voice of information and education.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to juvenile detail. A narcotic ring has been supplying drugs to the teenagers in your city. There's no lead to the identity of the key people in the operation. Your job, find them.
It was Monday, February 9th. It was cold in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of juvenile detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Powers. My name's Friday. I was on my way into the office, and it was 8:01 a.m. when I got to Georgia Street Juvenile. The squad room.
Joe?
That's right.
Hi, old buddy.
Been in long?
Oh, since about 7:30.
How come?
No, I couldn't sleep.
What's the matter? Anything wrong?
Oh, Fay and me had a beef. One of the kids is sick. We were up with him most of the night.
What's the matter?
I took him over the rides yesterday.
Rides?
Rides, you know, the place over there where they have the merry-go-round Ferris wheel.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Got him carried away, I guess. He sure had a good time, though. Took in everything, roller coaster, airplanes, whole works.
Mm-hmm.
She can't expect us to do it on an empty stomach. We had a little something to eat. Guess maybe we overdid it. Anyway, the youngster got sick last night. Fay says I'm to blame. One thing led to something else, and the beef was on.
So you just got up and came into work, huh?
Yeah. Stopped and had some breakfast, read the paper. Come on in.
How's the kid now?
Okay, it was nothing serious. A little too much cotton candy's all. Fay's got a tendency to make too much of those things, but, you know, she always does.
Yeah. Something we can do for you, young fella?
I'd like to talk to somebody.
All right, come on in. Maybe we can help you.
You're a cop?
That's right. It's Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
Hi.
Hello, son.
What do you want to see us about?
Kind of private. Is there someplace else we can go to talk?
Well, we can, yeah. There's a room down the hall.
Well, that might be better.
All right, we can go down there. Come on. Down this way.
Yeah.
Just a minute. This is it right here. Go ahead.
Yeah.
All right, you want to take a chair right there, son?
Okay.
All right, now what can we do for you?
I want you to put me in jail.
Why?
Because it's the only way I'll stop. I know it. I gotta be in a cell or I'll do it again.
What do you mean, son?
I'm hooked bad. I want to stop.
He was a nice-looking boy, well-dressed and clean. He looked like he was in his late teens. He asked us to put him in a cell. There was an intenseness in his eyes that showed that he was serious. Frank and I questioned him further.
What's your name, son?
John Coulter.
You spell the last name for me?
Colter.
How old are you?
17.
Where do you live, son?
You have to have that? Hasn't got anything to do with why I'm here.
Oh, we'll have to have it, son.
1896 Dillon Street.
Is that in L.A.?
Yeah.
How big a habit do you have, son?
I'm using 4 a day.
How long you been hooked?
A year, a day before yesterday.
Want to let us see your arms?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got a lot of marks there, haven't you?
Yeah, I guess so.
A couple of them there we better have the doctor look at.
All right, I don't care anymore.
How long since you had a fix?
Last night.
You must be feeling a little rough by now, then, aren't you?
Not easy.
Oh, I guess it is.
Hey, you mind pulling those blinds? It's awful bright in here.
Yeah, okay.
You live with your folks?
My father died when I was 5.
Your mother know about this?
No.
She's going to have to, you know.
Then you're going to tell her I'm not.
All right, we'll take care of that.
Is the light better now, son?
Yeah, thanks.
When'd you eat last?
Yesterday.
You hungry now?
No.
How about a cup of coffee?
No, thanks.
How'd you get started on this stuff?
Oh, it probably runs like all the rest of the stories you've heard.
Well, why don't you tell us yours anyway?
All right.
You sure we can't get you some?
Only one thing would do any good, and you can't give that to me.
All right, go ahead. Now, how'd you get started?
A couple of years ago, it was Halloween. The kids had a party.
Well?
We all went to this house. Kid that owned it had the rooms all decorated up, paper streamers and those cardboard skeletons.
Mm-hmm.
Had the whole place done up like that. We got there and found out they were figuring to play games. We went the game route for a while, and a bunch of us decided to leave. Things were dull, so we left.
Where'd you go?
Oh, just drove around for a while, tried to figure something to do.
Whose card you have?
One of the kids had his father's.
All right, go ahead.
Well, we drove around for a while, and one of the kids said for us to go up to Mulholland. Go up and scare the lovers up there.
Yeah.
Wasn't anything else to do, so we drove up. When we got there, one of the guys, a fellow I didn't know too good, said he had some tea. Said we should have a blast party.
This boy was at the other party, was he?
Yeah, but I didn't know him. Didn't meet him until we were out on the ride.
You go to your school?
No.
All right, son, go ahead.
Well, we parked, and he took out these cigarettes. He had them in a tobacco can. Like you buy pipe tobacco in.
Uh-huh.
Had them in one of them. Then we lit up and started to smoke. At first it made me sick. I didn't like it much. Come right down to it, I didn't think the whole thing was such a good idea.
Why'd you do it then?
All the kids there had to, or they'd have said I was chicken.
All right. How'd you get started on the hard stuff?
Oh, I just got to the point where there wasn't much kick in tea. Same thing all the time. Wanted to go up a step.
Who set you up?
One of the kids I met.
Wasn't the same boy who had the marijuana, was it?
No. You see, once in a while we'd go to a big blast party at somebody's house. The other kids there. New ones. I met Jerry there.
Jerry, that's the boy's name?
Yeah, Jerry Roth.
How old's he?
19.
Is he hooked?
Yeah.
Was he when you met him?
I guess so.
How'd he spell his last name, son?
Roath.
How'd he turn you on?
We were talking about tea. How the kick wore off. He said there was something else. Something that had a real jolt.
Yeah.
Boy, it's rough. I'm starting to get cramps.
You better have that cup of coffee now.
I'll get it, Joe.
All right. Feel pretty rough, don't you, son?
Yeah. It's a good thing I'm here. I'd start looking for a connection.
Did you take your first shot of heroin the night you met this Roth kid?
Yeah. We went outside to his car. He had a fit there, and he cooked up a fix. He took one, then I tried it.
What happened?
Never got so sick in my life. Thought I was going to die. Figure what's happened since then might have been a good thing.
How you been supporting your habit?
Only a couple of ways. You steal or you start pushing yourself.
Which way do you go?
Both.
What'd you steal?
Anything I could sell. Never took anything from anybody else, though, all from my own house. Most of the stuff was given to me. Rings, my watch, whatever I could raise a buck on.
Where'd you get rid of it?
Around the school. Couldn't go near a pawn shop, but the kids didn't care as long as they got a bargain. Sold my old man's watch for $3. 17 jewels, solid gold, $3.
What were you pushing?
T, H, anything. I'd buy the H and then cut it myself.
You don't have to do that many times until you got a couple of extra caps. That took care of me for a while.
Yeah.
Pretty soon there was never enough. Got so as I was always looking forward to the next fix.
When'd you start mainlining it?
I chippied with the stuff for a couple of months. Skin pops. Then that wasn't enough. Started in the arm.
When'd you find out that you were hooked, son? Do you remember?
About a year.
Took a while, huh?
I figured it would never happen. Thought I could beat it. Turn it off when I wanted to. Didn't work out that way.
Didn't you know you had it bad when the charge went up?
Not really. I still thought I could quit when I wanted to. Just never seemed to get that far. Kept putting it off. Guess if I figured I could start the next day, it didn't matter much. Time I decided to quit, I couldn't.
Here's your coffee, John. Brought one for you, too, Joe.
Thanks.
Hot.
Try to get it down. It'll make you feel a little better.
Yeah. Cramp's getting worse. You got a doctor here?
Yeah, there's one upstairs.
I better see him. Might be something he can do.
Is your mother at home?
No, she works.
She there now?
What time is it?
9:15.
Be about 10 minutes.
Better give us the number, huh?
Yeah. You're going to call her, huh?
That's right.
Going to tell her about it?
Yeah.
Going to take it pretty hard. I don't think she knows anything about it.
Well, we have to do it.
I guess so. Tell her how there's a cure, though, huh? She's going to be pretty scared.
How do you mean?
She read where only 2% come out of it.
Well, there's less than that who want to be helped. There's a lot less.
Yeah?
Maybe you got a piece of that 2%. 8:57 a.m. The boy was taken up to see the doctor on duty at the receiving hospital. At a couple of minutes after 9, we put in a call to the firm where his mother was employed. We talked to the personnel manager, and he said he'd have Mrs. Calder call us. A few minutes later, the phone rang, and we talked to the woman. We told her briefly what had happened and asked her to come right over to the office. At 9:25 a.m., the door to the squad room opened, and a tired-looking woman who looked to be in her late 40s or early 50s entered. She identified herself as Nora Calder and asked us what had happened to her son.
He's upstairs right now, Miss Calder. The doctor's looking at him.
He told me he's been using narcotics.
That's right.
Is that what he says?
Well, he's admitted it to us.
Is he all right?
Well, we think so. He's got an infection on his arm caused by a bad needle.
But it's going to be all right.
That's right.
You have a cigarette, Sergeant?
Yeah. There you are.
Thanks.
Help yourself.
Here's the light.
I guess I should have known it'd be something like this.
Beg your pardon?
I should have known. Had to show up someplace.
I don't think I understand, Miss Calder.
There's a trouble spot in them all, Sergeant, all of them. This is Johnny's. Hope you don't think I'm saying this personal to you. It's just what I've seen in the years I've gone around. Trouble spot in all men.
Did you know your son was using heroin?
No, I didn't have any idea.
Well, according to what he told us, he's been hooked for over a year. You must have noticed something, didn't you?
When you use the word hooked, I'm afraid I don't understand that kind of
Oh,
talk.
I'm sorry. I mean, he's been an addict for that long.
Sergeant, I've been working for a long time. Ever since Johnny's father died. I worked before then. When I get home after standing on my feet all day, I got a few more important things to do than wonder what he's doing. All I can do is just drag myself down to the factory every morning.
Yes, ma'am.
Always something. Bills to go over. Decide who's going to have to wait this month. Clothes to wash and iron. Time I just get the things done that have to be taken care of. It's all I can do to climb into bed before I pass out.
All right, Miss Calder, we understand.
I wonder if you do.
How's that?
I said I wonder if you do understand. Have you ever raised a boy by yourself?
No, ma'am.
I have. Believe me, it isn't easy. Since 11 years ago, I've been a mother and a father both to Johnny. I always knew there'd be something that'd blow up. I knew it because he's just like his father, exactly like him. I'm 35 years old. 35, and for the past 17 years, I haven't had a minute of happiness.
Yes, ma'am. Anything we can get for you, Mrs. Calder?
No. Only thing I want is a little happiness. It seems like there just isn't going to be any of that while I'm on this earth. I'm sick, Sergeant. I'm old and I'm sick, and I can't go through any more of this.
Your boy's pretty sick, too.
Yes. I know all about that, too. I read how none of them cures work. What they say, 2%. There's something else I got to carry.
Might be a little different with John.
I don't see why. No reason for him to be something special. No reason for him to be cured.
Yes, there is. He wants it, Miss Calder.
What's going to happen to him?
We'll file a petition on him.
After that,
Well, we'll have to make an appearance in juvenile court. They'll decide what treatment's going to be best for him.
can I see him?
Yes, ma'am, we can take care of that.
Now?
Frank, you want to see if the doctor's through them?
Yeah.
You have another cigarette, Sergeant.
Yeah, here you are. Here's a match.
Thanks, Sergeant.
It's all right. I want to tell you something, Miss Calder. Your son's pretty sick. He's not going to look too good when you see him.
You been hurt?
Not so it shows, but he's going through a great deal of pain. There's going to be a lot more.
For both of us, Sergeant.
Well, I guess you're right at that. Might be better if you remember that he's just a youngster. He's only 17.
I won't forget. He's mine.
All right. He's made a mistake, but he knows it, and he's taken it on himself to try and do something about it.
Tell you something, Sergeant.
All right.
I've had a lot of trouble with Johnny. When he was little, he was always running away from home. Time he got to school, he played hooky a couple of times a week. High school, it was the same thing, but that's not the worst of it.
Ma'am?
He's been stealing. From his own mother, he's been stealing.
Yes, ma'am. He told us.
He admitted it?
Yes, he did.
Well, there you are. Not bad enough he's a dope fiend, he's a thief, too. I wasn't sure about the stealing, I just thought so. A few things have been missing around the house, and I'd asked Johnny about him. He'd offer some half-baked story, and now I know. He's a thief. I haven't got enough.
Try to take it easy with the boy.
Take it easy. That's a laugh. All I've done for him, nice home. Not real big or fancy, but it's clean. We've got a kind of closet, sort of, nice and big with a window. Got that all fixed up for Johnny, airplane pictures on the walls. The best I could do. We eat good. Never gone hungry. Lord knows I have, but he hasn't. No reason for him to do a thing like this. No reason at all.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, Mother.
I know all about it, Johnny. These men told me. All the time I've been telling you it'd end up like this. You in trouble with the police. You just wouldn't listen. You thought you knew better than me. Well, you found out how much you know.
Yeah. I'm sorry about it.
It's a little late for that. How am I going to go home with all the neighbors knowing about what's happened?
I'm sorry.
Well, what's that lot of good that's going to do? I had you home right now. I'd show you, and don't think you're too big for me to do it.
You want to take me upstairs, Mr. Smith?
Yeah.
Just a minute. I got some more things to say to you. Don't you go walking out on me like that.
I don't feel so good. I'd like to be by myself. I'll talk to you later.
You talk to me now. I got a lot of things I want to tell you, all the trouble you've caused.
I'm sorry. Please, Mr. Smith, it's tough enough.
All right, let's go then.
You bring him back here. You bring him back. Well, that's it. Now they're both gone. Now there isn't anybody.
Anything we can get for you, Miss Calder?
Yeah. Get me a reason why this had to happen. Give me one. Do you know one?
Well, I can't be sure.
What do you mean by that?
Just like you said before.
What?
He's your son. We made arrangements for Mrs. Calder to be taken to her home. That night, John Calder was kept at Georgia Street Jail. The next morning, we filed a petition on him. We had one of the doctors at the county hospital talk to Mrs. Calder, and he finally convinced her that her son would get proper treatment at one of the state hospitals, and she signed the necessary papers. For the next 3 days, the boy had it pretty rough. If the novice drug user had the opportunity to witness a patient going through withdrawal pains, the majority of drug traffic would be brought to a halt. Because of the sincerity of the Calder boy, Frank and I spent as much time as we could spare with him while he was going through the symptoms. He complained of violent headaches and stomach cramps, the usual things. He was unable to keep any food down. His eyes watered constantly, and for 72 hours he was in a state of constant violent pain. On the 4th day, he began to recover. He was able to take some warm beef broth and apparently was on his way to being physically well. On Saturday, February 15th, we talked to him at the hospital.
Rough go.
Yeah. You got the worst of it behind you now.
Best thing I've heard for a week. Don't think I could go through any more of it.
Well, you got it made now, John. From here on in, you'll get all the help we can give you.
Well, you guys have done a lot already. A couple of times there, I think I would have gone off my rocker if I hadn't been able to talk to you.
Well, that's what we're here for.
Hey, either one of you got any gum?
Yeah, sure. Here's some.
Jumpy. I gotta do something to calm down. You seen my mother?
She called us yesterday, yeah.
How's she getting along?
A lot better. One of the doctors here at the hospital talked to her. Said she wants to see you.
What's that going to prove? Be the same thing. Her telling me how tired she is, how I'm a goofball.
I don't think so this time. It hasn't been easy for her either, you know.
Maybe not. I don't know.
Well, why don't you give her a chance to make it up? If she wants to.
Yeah. I guess there isn't much more I can do.
All right, now, there are a couple of things we want to ask you.
What?
We want the men who kept you supplied.
Names?
That's right.
You figure I'll tell you?
Don't you figure you will?
Wrong base. I'm a bum in a lot of ways, but I ain't going to get anybody else in trouble.
You told us about this Jerry Roth, didn't you?
Yeah.
We got a warrant out on him now. Only be a matter of time before we pick him up.
Then let him tell you.
Do you think you got it a little wrong here?
Yeah?
What'd these people do for you?
They're friends.
Check the books. Go over what they've done for you against what you've done for them.
What do you mean?
You're a big boy. Figure it out for yourself. You know, they tell us there's an estimated 25,000 narcotic users right here in Los Angeles, and a big part of them are kids.
Reed's good. Figures always help.
I know you remember something else, youngster. You came to us and you asked for help, didn't you? You walked into the office, you said you were in trouble. We're not trying to steal a plea or sound like big men, but when you said you wanted help, we didn't ask you if you could afford it. We didn't care. Now, if these people are such good friends, why didn't you go to them? I'll tell you why you didn't. Because you were scared. You knew what had happened if you walked up to them with empty pockets. You knew they'd spit right in your face. They're your buddy as long as you can pay for it. As soon as you're broke, they never met you, did they? Loyalty's fine. It's a good thing. People could use a lot more of it. But turn it around, son. You've stolen things from your own family to support this habit. Now, how loyal have your friends been when you haven't had the price of a cap? How quick did they come through for you then? You know what it's like in here. You've had it bad. Any of your friends been around to see you? Any of them been willing to hold your head while your insides fell out? Now, we asked you a question. We don't really need the answer from you. We'll pick up the people that did this. We'll reach every one of them, from the mule that sold you that first cap to the guy who's been bringing the stuff right into the country. We just figured you'd like the chance to help out the other 25,000. I guess we had it wrong, didn't we? There's the phone. Put in a call to one of your high-powered friends. See how fast they come through for you now. You don't need us, and we don't need you. Let's go, Frank.
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I'll give you the names.
We talked to the boy for another hour and a half. During that time, he gave us as much information as he could on the operation of the narcotics ring. He supplied us with the names, dates, times, and places. However, he could only go so high in the organization. Frank and I went back to the office and we called narcotics detail. We talked to Sergeant Roxy Lucarelli and his partner, Steve Broadhurst. We filled them in on what had happened and gave them a list of the names we had. The roundup of narcotics salesmen started. Inside the next 24-hour period, 14 men and women had been taken into custody. Each one of them was interrogated, but they either didn't know the name of the key man in the operation or they refused to tell us. They were all booked on various sections of the state narcotics code. On Wednesday, February 18th, we received word that Jerry Roth had been picked up in a washroom in Pershing Square. Frank and I went over to the main jail to talk to him.
All right, get it over with.
We want one thing from you, Roth.
Yeah?
The name of the wheel.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Roll up your sleeves, boy.
What for?
Roll them up. Let's see the other one.
They're both the same.
Let's see it. Smart, John.
What's that proof?
That you're left-handed. When'd you have your last fix?
Who says I use the stuff at all?
Oh, come off it, Roth. We got you and you know it.
I don't see where it says that.
How old are you?
Well, you got the record. Look it up.
You're a big talker, aren't you, son?
I live that way, too.
Well, you're just taking a little drop, kid.
You won't keep me here for more than 12 hours.
Don't make book on that.
Well, I got a lot of friends in this town. They'll get me out.
You keep believing that. We put a hold on you when we came in.
What's that mean?
It means you'll be dropped into an ISO cell. There isn't going to be anybody who can talk to you without us knowing about it. Everybody comes near you is going to be checked back to the time they were born.
And what's that going to prove?
We'll get to the wheel.
You talk loud, cop, but I got trouble with my ears.
All right, you sit right with it, kid. You'll be screaming for us to talk with you.
Yeah, sure.
Keep believing it, because I'll give you one thing free.
Yeah?
Next time we're here, it'll be to listen. Jerry Roth was returned to his cell, and Frank and I went back to the investigation. For the next 2 days, we kept a constant check on the suspect. During that time, nobody had attempted to see him or talk to him. Saturday, February 21st, we got back to the office from lunch.
Want to check the book?
Yeah.
Anything?
Yeah, we're supposed to call the main jail.
Roth probably wants to talk.
Well, we might have tried to spring him.
Yeah.
This Friday, juvenile. When? We'll be right over.
Roth?
Yeah.
Want to talk?
Well, maybe we can ask him.
Huh?
They just cut him down. He tried to hang himself. Frank and I left the office and drove over to the jail. The boy had torn his trousers into strips and braided them into a rope. He'd attempted to take his own life. He'd been found on a routine check and had been cut down. The accident had been discovered almost immediately, and by the time we got there, he was almost fully recovered. We talked to him in the interrogation room.
Kind of lousy way out, isn't it, kid?
That looked good at the time.
How's it seem to you now?
I made a mistake.
How do you feel?
Pretty lousy.
You want to give us the name?
What kind of protection do I get?
How do you mean?
Well, if I tell you, I gotta know he ain't gonna get me.
Well, we'll try to build some kind of a wall for you.
You won't know it's me?
No, not from us.
All right. His name is Pollard Zern.
You want to spell that?
Yeah, Z-E-R-N-E.
He the top man?
Yeah, I built the whole thing.
Did he bring this stuff into the country?
Yeah, Sergeant, he's got a boat. He tells people he's going fishing for albacore.
Was he bringing it in from Mexico?
Yeah, I've been with him a couple of times. He lands the boat at a beach down there, makes the contact, and then comes home. Hides the stuff and fish. Got the idea from an old movie. That way, if they lift the boat over, chances are they won't find it.
Nice setup, huh?
Yeah, it sure worked good for him.
Yeah.
He made a mint, got a big house, drives a new car, got everything he wants. Just sits back and pulls a handle, jackpot every time.
No, not this time.
Huh?
He just turned a lemon.
Pollard Harris Zern and the other members of the narcotics gang were tried and convicted of violation of the State Narcotic Act, a felony, and received sentence as prescribed by law. A petition was filed on John Keith Coulter, and he was made a ward of the juvenile court. After treatment, he was pronounced cured and returned to the custody of his mother.
You have just heard Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action, and starring Jack Webb, a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
My name's Jeff Regan. I get 10 a day in expenses from a detective bureau run by a guy named Lyon, Anthony J. Lyon. I'm the Lion's Eye.
With Jack Webb as Jeff Regan, Investigator, stand by for hard-boiled action and mystery and thrilling adventure in tonight's story of the Diamond Quartet.
Well, this is the way it started. Melody called about 6 o'clock that night. She gave me the name of a restaurant out on the strip and said that Lyon was waiting for me. I drove out there and found him squatting at one of the corner tables. He had a big white napkin tucked under all of his chins, and he was working on a plate of crab louis and a bottle of beer. A tall peroxide blonde in slacks and dark glasses was sitting across from him, watching him eat. And a couple of bald-headed waiters were just sort of standing around looking at the ceiling.
Well, Regan, I see you got my message. You're right on time. Sit down. I want you to meet Miss, what did you say your name was, young lady?
Madge will do. Just plain Madge, fatso.
Regan, this is Madge.
I hate gumshoes. They all stink.
Okay, where'd you find her?
Madge? Madge works for Mr. Daly, Mr. Pete Daly. He's a new client of ours. Isn't that right, Madge?
All gumshoes are nosy. That's why I don't like them.
Madge is going to drive you out to Mr. Daly's residence, Regan.
Who's Daly?
Very nice chap, very nice chap. I spoke with him on the phone.
What's the job?
Well, it's a rather delicate matter, and I think Mr. Daly himself can explain it better than I.
Come on, all this gassing ain't getting us nowhere. The boss is waiting. Gumshoes talk too much.
Yes, Regan, yes. I told Mr. Daly you'd be there by 7 o'clock. You just run along with Madge here and see what it's all about.
Let's drift.
Nice to have met you, Madge.
Ah, dry up, fatso.
Good. Call me, Regan. Call me if you're running into any trouble.
Just plain Madge, who was carrying a .25 automatic in her purse. Well, we got into a Cadillac. We went out the pass, turned off a hill and back of Burbank. Daly's residence was at the end of a private road, a nice old Southern-style place with 2 or 3 private patrolmen guarding the entrance. They all needed shades. They kind of nodded when we got out of the car and went up to the front door. Naturally, there was a peep shutter there. It was real Southern.
Yeah?
It's me, Felix. This is the private keeper the boss wants to see.
Okay, miss.
Come on this way.
Who is it?
Madge, I got your peeper. Inside. Here he is, Pete. Flat feet and all. His name's Regan.
Okay, Madge, that's all. Beat it. Sit down, Regan, sit down. Don't mind Madge. He's kind of antisocial.
Nice place you got. How's the gross?
Yeah, I do all right. 2 crap tables, 2 faro games, a little roulette in the living room, but I have to be careful.
I noticed that driving up.
There's lots of money thrown around here every night. Somebody might get some ideas. You know how it is.
What about the law?
Law? No trouble with them. I just don't let them know I'm in operation.
Mm-hmm.
In my business, I haven't much use for private detectives. I don't generally like them.
Neither does Madge.
But I happen to need one right now. I want you to do a little job for me.
You seem to have plenty of help around here. Wasn't that Felix Frazier at the door there? Last time I saw him, he was shadowing a banker up in Sacramento.
Yes, that was Felix, all right, but it's a little different. Yeah. Never seen this before? No? Well, it's a little bit of necklace called the Diamond Quartet. It's worth quite a chunk of cash. These 4 diamonds are good stuff.
So?
Dame named Annabella Callender left it here a week ago. She was in kind of deep at the roulette table and was wearing this. She left it for security.
How much did she lose?
About 5 G's, I guess. Kind of screwy little dame. She's a widow with a lot of money and a boyfriend named Teddy Silco. He paints or something. They come here.
And she loses steady?
Every time. Well, she sent me a check today for the full amount of what she lost.
Yeah?
And I want you to take this thing back to her tonight.
That it?
That's it. I got my dough. She gets a little diamond necklace back. Just business.
Well, it sounds simple.
It's simple. You're a licensed investigator, bonded, insured. Don't want any fuss about this. You just take it back. Very simple.
Okay. Now, you told me how simple it all is. Suppose you give me the hook. Did her check bounce?
You want a drink? There wasn't any check.
I thought it'd be something like that.
Yeah. She called me a couple hours ago, said if I didn't have this thing back by tonight, she'd call a load of cops and come out and get it.
Not such a dumb dame at that.
As you're telling me. If she comes here with cops, I'm closed for the season, and this dump cost me a pile of dough. Felix was running the roulette table that night. I didn't know he'd taken this as security until we counted up. I should have pushed his mush in or something. Letting a dame like that make a setup.
Maybe you'll do better next time.
Ain't gonna be no next time, Regan. Here's her address. Here's the ice. Just take it to her, and I'll chalk it up to experience.
You better get yourself a new boy at that table.
Yes, you're telling me. You're telling me.
Well, I took a taxi over to the restaurant in Hollywood, picked up my Buick, and drove to an apartment house near Pico and Beverly Drive. A couple of men in a little gray coupe were sitting in front of the building smoking cigarettes and pulling on their hat brims. I figured Daly was making sure I got the right address. Upstairs on the 5th floor, I leaned into the buzzer and waited to see what Mrs. Annabella Callender looked like.
Oh, Teddy, I thought you'd never get here. The performance begins at 8:15, and you know the traffic. Oh, you aren't there.
You Annabella Callender?
Well, of course. Who are you?
My name's Regan.
Oh, Miss Regan. Well, I'm only waiting for Ted to get here so we can make first curtain of the Biltmore. We're seeing Carousel, and we're going to be late if he doesn't get here. You can understand that.
Yeah, it figures.
And I'm all ready, and he hasn't shown up. Well, good night.
Yeah.
Her white ermine cape and the black strapless thing needed a touch. But she had it. That necklace I had in my pocket, or a very good copy, was hanging around her neck, and it looked like 4 Klieg lights at a Hollywood premiere.
Hey, lay off. You bust the door, lay off. What's the idea? You want to bust down the door? You drunk or something?
I've been pounding on this door for 5 minutes.
Well, that's too bad. Can't you read the signs? This building's closed. The scram, drift, push off, blow.
You got a jeweler in this building named Tartaglia?
Yeah, we got a jeweler named Tartaglia. Only don't want to see nobody because it's 9 o'clock at night. The joint's closed and he ain't here.
All right, slow down. He lives someplace, don't he?
Sure. There's a lot of houses that way. Why don't you try knocking on doors?
There wasn't any residence listed in the phone book. I thought maybe if I came down here to his office, you could tell me where I might see him.
I ain't going to tell you nothing.
Look, I'm a private investigator. I got to see him tonight.
Oh, how's little old expense account, Pilgrim?
It'll do.
Let me see, pal. The name's Freddie Leach. Your boy's a fat old pile of blubber with a lot of talk in this note. White Hotel, 208, 3 blocks straight ahead.
Thanks, Freddie.
Anytime, pal. Father Sawbuck, I'll tell you where his girlfriend lives.
Well, come in, Mr. Regan. Come in. You find me a bit indisposed at this hour. I was preparing to retire, but you said it was a matter of jewelry. Therefore, Bert Tartaglia is at your service. Now then, sir, what is so urgent?
I came to see you about a diamond necklace. I found your name stamped on the inside.
House of Tartaglia, most respected name in diamonds as in all the lapidary arts. Most respected. I'm the last of 4 sons. All... But continue, Mr. Regan.
Take a look at this.
And how do you come into possession of the Diamond Quartet, sir?
A man named Daly, who runs a gambling club, hired me to take it back to a lady named Callender.
Gambling house? And how did Mr. Daly acquire it?
She lost it at the roulette table. She left it so she could raise the cash.
Deplorable conduct on her part. Annabella Callender, a very indiscreet young lady, to be sure. Lovely body, propelled by a ridiculous mind.
I tried to take it back to her tonight.
It's beautiful, isn't it, Mr. Regan? Beautiful.
I want to know if it's real or not.
Real? Of course it's real.
You sure?
Mr. Regan, do you doubt my ability as a gemologist? Once in a lifetime, sir, only once in a lifetime does an artisan have the opportunity to create the perfect necklace.
How much will it pull?
Priceless in the amount of work. Roughly $65,000. See, here, under the light. See how carefully each stone is mounted. Without reservation, I pronounce the Diamond Quartet an incomparable masterpiece.
Well, I saw one just like it tonight.
Huh? I didn't quite follow you, sir. No one could create another Diamond Quartet except Bert Tartaglia.
Well, and somebody made up a pretty good imitation.
The finest workman at best would create only a crude resemblance. This kind of work demands an artist, Mr. Regan, an artist.
But it could get by.
Oh, to the unpracticed eye, yes. To the layman, perhaps, yes.
Mm-hmm. That's all I wanted to know.
Lated in Anguis Herba, eh?
What was that?
Latin. A snake in the grass, eh?
Maybe.
Your expression tells me you are concerned for the safety of this piece. I have a safe here in my room if you care.
No, it'll be all right.
Well, then, you leave satisfied, I trust.
Yeah, thanks.
Think nothing of it, Mr. Regan. Think nothing of it. Just remember the House of Tartaglia when you want fine jewels. Good evening, sir.
In the lobby, I got 2 3-cent stamps from the clerk. He watched me put the Diamond Quartet in an envelope, address it to myself, and mail it right there. He blinked a couple of times, but I didn't tell him about my 2 pals parked across the street in the little gray coupe. They were sitting there, still sucking on cigarettes and pulling on their hat brims. When I walked outside, they got out of the coupe, came over to where I was lighting a cigarette. The tall one tapped me on the shoulder.
Here's the paper, Georgie. Want to ask him for a match? Georgie's nearsighted.
That's too bad.
That's him, Danny. Got a match, Peeper?
Georgie asks if you got a match, Peeper. He's a dummy, Georgie. Don't talk.
Got a match, Peeper?
What I tell you, he's a dummy.
You don't look like no dummy.
Oh, he's a dummy, all right, ain't you, Peeper? See, he's a dummy, Georgie. I told him about you being nearsighted, and he said it was too bad. Didn't you, Peeper?
They still don't talk.
Go on, Peeper. Tell Georgie how sorry you are about him being nearsighted. I told you he was a dummy, Georgie.
All private eyes like you.
Georgie asked you a question. He wants to know if all private eyes is like you.
Danny boy says you're a dummy. You a dummy?
Georgie asked you another question. He wants to know if you're a dummy. See, no answer.
I don't like dummies.
We asked 3 questions already, and he ain't said nothing. That makes him a dummy.
Maybe we find something if we went through the dummy's pockets.
Yeah, even a dummy's got pockets. Ain't that right, dummy? Hold it, Georgie.
Hey, move just like a dummy.
What do you want?
Hey, talk.
Yeah. Make him talk again, Georgie. Oh. Make him talk bigger, Georgie. Oh. Talks real nice, but he don't say much. Maybe he's tough, Georgie.
He might think he's tough. But then again... You see? That's a tough.
Now it's my turn.
Hey. You don't talk no more, Danny.
This Peeper ain't no pretty picture, Georgie. Why you want to hold him up?
You are listening to the story of the Diamond Quartet. Tonight's adventure with Jeff Regan, Investigator. $29,000 nurses are needed now to join the new Army Nurse Corps Officers Reserve. For the first time in history, qualified nurses are given the opportunity of receiving a commission in the regular Army Reserve. These nurses will remain on inactive status, ready to serve their country in the event of an emergency. 4,000 of them, if they wish, may choose active duty. Inactive reserve status will not interfere with the nurse's civilian life, but the educational opportunities offered her by the Army Medical Department will be of a great advantage to her in her work. So don't wait. If you're a registered graduate nurse between the ages of 21 and 45, drop a card now for complete information to the Adjutant General, Washington, D.C. And now, back to the story of the Diamond Quartet and Jeff Regan, Investigator.
Regan, can you hear me, Regan? Nurse, are you sure he's coming too?
He had quite a beating, Mr. Lyon, but he's coming around.
Regan, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Regan, can you hear me?
I think he's with us now.
It's me, Regan. What happened to you? Why didn't you call? Regan, do you understand me?
What's this?
That's your head, and it isn't very pretty, let me tell you that.
I'll be at my desk, Mr. Lyon.
All right. Come on, give it to me. What happened? An hour ago, the receiving hospital telephones me that they picked you up in some gutter. I come down to see what's what, and you lay there and ask me, what's this?
Well, it's a wrong job. Another punk client.
As long as they've got the dough, we love them all. Who are you fighting with?
A couple of boys named Danny and Georgie.
A couple of boys named Danny and Georgie. Well, would you mind telling me just where you've been while you should have been doing what you were hired to do?
I was out with Danny and Georgie.
Sure. You were out with Danny and Georgie. But what did you do before that? And what did you do with the necklace? That Diamond Quartet or whatever it is.
I mailed it.
You mailed it? You were hired to deliver that thing personally, and you mail it.
Where's my clothes?
Regan, I'll never understand you. I'll never understand you or the way you do things. I send you out on a simple little job. All you have to do is take a necklace back, and what do? You wind up bleeding all over the city street. Here's your pants.
What time you got?
3 o'clock in the morning. It's always 3 o'clock in the morning when somebody telephones me that you're in trouble somewhere.
Well, why don't you go home and go back to bed?
I haven't been to bed. I haven't had one wink of sleep tonight. You know why? Because on top of all my other troubles, some dame who sounds like she has a snoot full of hooch has been calling my place every half hour asking for you. My place.
Why didn't you tell her to call my place?
I did tell her to call your place. I told her a couple of 100 times to call your place. Then I told her to shut up.
Coat.
Here. You look terrible. Terrible.
She give you a name?
Annabella something or other. I don't know. What I want to know is... Hey, where are you going? Who's going to pay this hospital bill? Where are you going? the cab driver circled twice before he picked me up, but he got me out to her place in 20 minutes. When I got upstairs, her door was halfway open, and the light from the hallway kind of seeped in. She was sitting in a big chair right by the door. I don't know why, but she was holding the phone on her lap, just sitting there, looking at nothing.
Oh, Mr. Regan. It's you. You came back.
Yeah. I don't think you're going to need this.
Oh. Well then, Mr. Regan. Well then. I suppose you've met some people tonight who know a great deal about me.
Some? A gambler? A jeweler?
And of course they told you how I carry on with money and all that. Everyone seems to know that.
Yeah, Daly told me.
Do you know about Charles? Charles and I had so many things together, and it was so much fun being alive with him. You like to have fun, Mr. Regan? I do think he enjoyed being alive with me. I mean, I cried when Charles was killed. I really did. I cried. I didn't know what to do. I cried.
How long ago was that?
Oh, Charles was killed 3 years ago. But now I have Teddy. He's really a dear. You should meet him. We should all have a drink together or something. Teddy's a fine artist. Very fine artist. I think you'll be very prominent someday. I do. I really do think Teddy will be very prominent someday. Of course, it wouldn't make any difference now. Did they tell you that did they tell you? It's funny. I can't seem to get my tongue adjusted to my mouth. Did that ever happen to you, Mr. Regan?
Sometimes.
Teddy asked me to marry him tonight.
He did?
Yes, I've been very lonely since Charles died. It isn't my money that Teddy's interested in, I'm certain. Teddy has some money of his own, although many people don't know it. What is money, Mr. Regan? What would you say, money? Oh, yes, I go again with that business about my tongue. You think I should see a correctionist?
Why did you call me tonight?
You're the only detective I know. And I really don't know you. It's just that Mr. Daly said you were a detective.
Why did you want to see me?
I really can't understand money. I know it must sound strange to you, but some people live for it, and some people die for it, and some people...
Come here. What's wrong? What is it? Come on.
Oh, they do look so funny. So very funny. I've seen them count money. Oh, so much money, and I really believe that's all they live for. They handle it and caress it now.
Come on, tell me what's wrong. What is it? What is it? She was pointing to a black spot across the room. I found the light switch and turned it on. Oh, yeah. They looked funny, all right. It was Daly and his dumb roulette table man, Felix. And both of them were as dead as you can get.
All night. I knew you'd telephone and say you'd marry me.
Yeah. Your name's Silko?
Oh, yes, I was expecting...
My name's Regan. I'm a private investigator. I'm calling from her apartment.
Annabella's?
Now, listen. There's been a couple of murders here.
What?
She's had quite a jolt. She's going to need you and all the help she can get. I called homicide, and, well, it might be kind of rough for her.
I'll bring a doctor.
And a lawyer.
I've got a good one. I'll be there in 10 minutes. Thank you.
Well, he showed up about the same time Wendetti and the homicide boys got there. By that time, she couldn't even talk, and they had to put her to sleep. I told Wendetti what I knew about it, and he said we'd get it straightened around as soon as she had something to say. It was about 8 o'clock in the morning when I got home. I didn't expect my boy to show up so soon. He was already there.
Regan, I've been expecting you. Come in, sir. Come in. I've been amusing myself with your chessboard. So we meet again. Sit down, sit down. You've had rather a hectic night, I'll wager.
Your boys were pretty rough.
Georgie and Danny. Two men of another world, Regan, not our world. Allow me to apologize for their actions. And so unnecessary, too. I underestimated you, Regan. Such an ingenious method of protecting the Diamond Quartet. Why, sir, by the simple expedient of placing a 3-cent stamp on an envelope and mailing it to you yourself, you hired as guardians the entire United States Postal Service, not to mention the Army, Navy, and Marine Corps.
You want one of these?
No, thank you, Regan. Much too early in the day. But go ahead. You give me cause to admire you again, sir. I'm one of those faint-hearted persons who cannot abide liquor until 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
All right. What happens now?
By gad, I admire your directness, Mr. Regan. When I met you last night, I promised myself you'd give me trouble, and you have.
Who's in on it?
Such directness. In answer, sir, that is a matter to be explained.
Double cross.
If you can bear my vanity, I have invented a new word. Triple cross. It does have a ring to it, doesn't it?
Sounds familiar.
By gad, sir, I like you.
Daly in on this?
Daly? No, of course not. A mere instigator. But when Madge explained to me that he was returning the Diamond Quartet, I first conceived the plan.
Just plain Madge.
She and her friends have been very valuable to me.
They knocked off Daly and Felix and planted them in the girl's apartment.
Right. With 2 cadavers in her living room, Mrs. Callender was very unlikely to discuss missing jewelry with the police.
Then it was a phony she was wearing, and she didn't even know it, huh?
And it caused all of this. If you had merely returned it, it would have been simple to remove it from her. But then...
And you just sit here and wait for the mail.
We wait for the mail, Mr. Regan.
What about your playmates?
You do act your role, don't you? And I like you for it, Mr. Regan. I wish you and I could have worked out something together. An unbeatable team. In answer, sir, I'm afraid I shall be sought for murder for 2 this night.
Danny and Georgie?
And, Madge. Does that name bother you as much as it bothers me? Give me a woman with a name like Celeste or Josephine or Roxanne. Those, sir, are proper names for the creatures. But Madge...
Where are the police going to find all these bodies?
In my hotel room, which I departed hastily.
I know a man down at Central Homicide named Wendetti.
Do you?
Mm-hmm. He's the best cop I've ever seen. You'll never get away with it.
Allow me to correct you, sir. I don't intend to get away with it. Observe me well. You see before you a man advanced in years, attached to a destitute and bankrupt jewelry firm, with nothing more to look forward to than a grim few years, and finally the end. Now an opportunity to live like a king, and by God, sir, I've taken it.
They'll pick you up before you can pack a bag.
I'll risk that. I shall turn the Diamond Quartet into cash, and with a well-laden purse, I shall be satisfied to elude the police over half the world. Oh, yes, they'll get me. In 2 years, 3 years, perhaps. By that time, I shall have spent the money. And what more could a man ask than a perfect fulfillment of all his wishes? Huh? I ask you, sir, as one gentleman to another, what more could a man ask? You have company, and I have a gun. Answer it. Tell him to go away. I'll be right beside you. All right. Open it.
One side, Thomas. I got a gun.
Madge.
Thought I'd find you here, plump boy. Get into such a good job on me.
Caution, my dear. I have a gun, too.
I didn't last long enough to let you have it. Get out of my way, people. Oh.
Mr. Regan, sir. I believe I've been shot. I need assistance. I can't seem to hold my feet, sir. Can't seem to hold my feet. The mortal is nil nisi bonum, Mr. Regan. Or, if your second-year Latin escapes you, speak well of the dead. It was an awkward plan at best.
was a lousy idea. Well, there wasn't anybody left for Wendetti to arrest, so we sat around and looked at each other. Wendetti agreed that Madge double-crossed Daly. Tartaglia double-crossed Madge and her boys. Yeah, triple-crossed. Well, the Lion had something on his mind. He wanted to know, was I satisfied with what I got out of this case? I didn't answer him. I need the job.
The Army Nurse Corps Reserve still has commissions available. If you are a graduate registered nurse between the ages of 21 and 45, you may be eligible for a commission in the Army Nurse Corps section of the Regular Officers Reserve. Graduate work is provided at the Army's most modern teaching center, and the nurses obtain educational experiences that benefit them in both civilian and military nursing. If you believe you qualify for a commission in the Army Nurse Corps Reserve, apply to the Adjutant General, Washington, D.C. Jack Webb is featured as Jeff Regan, with Wilms Herbert as Anthony J. Lyon. The role of Bert Tartaglia was played by Barry Kruger. Lorene Tuttle was Annabella Callender. It's CBS same time next week for trouble, suspense, and thrilling adventure with Jeff Regan, Investigator. Written by E. Jack Newman, produced by Gordon T. Hughes, directed tonight by Cliff Howell. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to robbery detail. A wholesale drug company has been held up. $4,000 in narcotics has been taken. Your job? Find it. Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Tuesday, July 10th. It was hot in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of robbery detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Chief of Detectives Thad Brown. My name's Friday. We're on our way out from the office, and it was 10:51 p.m. when we got to Highland Park Division. The coffee room.
Joe, Frank, over here.
Hi, Luke.
Hi, Roxy. Want a cup of coffee?
Yes,
I'll get
good.
it, Joe.
Okay. How's it going, Luke?
Pretty good, kind of hot.
Yeah.
Makes me wish I'd built that patio out of our place.
Yeah,
You got a dime and change, Joe?
Yeah, wait a minute. Here you go.
Thanks.
That was a half, you know. Bring me some change.
Don't worry. Wait a minute. You want to take one of these cups, Joe?
Yeah, I got it.
How about you? You want some more, Luke?
No, thanks. Okay.
Well, what do you got for us, Luke?
I gave you the call as soon as we got it. The way it bills is that a patrolman picked him up over on Monte Vista.
Uh-huh.
Spotted him in a parked car. Checked on it and found the guy was pretty sick. First he thought it might be a 502, but after he got a good look, figured it was a heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
Fellow was out cold, couldn't tell anything.
Uh-huh.
They called an ambulance and took the guy over to Lincoln Heights Receiving and gave him treatment there. Checking it out, they found several puncture marks on his arm. Thought he might be a diabetic.
Mm-hmm.
His appearance was shock. Checked on his personal effects and came up with this.
Mm-hmm. Drug vial.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see, Joe.
Oh, yeah, here.
The label's all cut up, but there's enough left to tell the serial numbers.
Yeah.
One of the vials taken from Arnold's.
Morphine.
That's right.
What's his name?
Norman Curie.
What's he got on him?
Not much. According to R&I, he's been picked up a couple of times for marks.
Has he said anything to you?
Not much. He's feeling pretty rocky. Still coming out of it. I haven't been able to get anything out of him.
What's he say about the vial?
Nothing. Acts like a war prisoner. All he says is his name, gives his address.
So check out.
A couple guys over there, man. Figured you'd want a piece of it. Might be able to get something out of it.
Oh, I don't know. No reason for us to make it if you guys didn't.
Well, maybe. Might give it a try.
Okay. Finished?
Yeah. Here, I'll take the cups.
Okay. Can I have the change from that half?
Wait a minute, buddy. I'll give it to you on the way back.
All right. All right, let's go.
Okay. You want to check your gun?
Yeah. You want to give us a check for these, please?
Oh, yeah.
Has anybody talked to Curie?
Not that I know of. He hadn't made any calls. No one's been here to see him.
The morphine vial, the only thing he had on him?
Yeah. Turned his pockets, but it's all we could find. Fellows might do better in his room.
It'll be a real break if it ends right here, won't it?
That's for sure.
Here you go. Number 6 is a belly gun.
All right, thank you. No, that's mine. Here's yours, Frank.
Okay. Here's your change.
All right, thank you. Anything on the car he was in?
No. The officer that picked him up went over it, but they didn't turn in anything.
Is he the registered owner?
Yeah.
You want to talk to Curie again, huh?
That's right.
How long is he going to be here?
We'll take him downtown in the morning.
Right. I'll be out front when you're ready to leave.
Okay, great.
You back again?
That's right.
Brought some help, huh?
Want to ask you some questions, fella.
My name's Norman Curie. I live at 9672 Farnham Street.
Yeah, I've heard.
Then you've had it for me. I'm not giving you the time till I talk to a lawyer.
Where'd you get the morphine vial?
My name's Norman Curie. I live
All right,
at
we've been through all that.
9672 Farnham Street.
Look, you're in for a lot more than a narco charge.
From where you sit?
No matter how you see it. You got trouble, Curie.
Go ahead, cop. I like stories.
You're not doing yourself any good with this routine.
You're not doing me any harm. I don't have to talk to you. Nothing in the book says I got to give you fresh air. Now, all of you, get off my back. You come in here and try to nail anything more than narcotics on me, the guys in the coffee room will laugh you right out of the station. Once around, I'll give it to you again. My name's Norman Curie, and I live at 9672 Farnham Street, and that's it.
You're giving us no more.
You've had it.
All right, let's go.
How long are you going to hold me here?
You'll be moved in the morning.
When do I call a lawyer?
I'll leave word out front.
Thanks.
Here. Jim, want to unlock it?
You guys understand, huh?
What?
Hope you ain't sorry about what I said, just that there isn't anything I can give you.
Yeah, sure.
Just that nobody likes to be shoved around. Gets to the point where everybody's on your back. A guy don't like it.
Yeah.
Might not look like it, fella, but I ain't trying to be a big man.
Well, I wouldn't worry about it.
Huh?
You're not. The following morning, the suspect was removed to the main jail and booked in on suspicion of violation of the State Narcotics Act, a felony. He was photographed and fingerprinted. The combined efforts of the Narcotics Division and Robbery Detail had been devoted to the apprehension of the thieves who'd stolen the drugs. The arrest of Curie had been the first lead we'd gotten to the disposition of the stolen merchandise, but without his cooperation, there was little chance that we could get to the ringleaders. The next day, Frank and I checked with informants who might be able to supply us with any information. All of Curie's known associates were interrogated. None of them helped us. We got word that Curie had been released on bail at noon. Narcotics Division had assigned officers to follow him, and all of his actions were being observed. Everyone he met was being checked on. 5:10 p.m., Wednesday afternoon. We got back to the city hall from a meeting with Captain Carl Shy of Narcotics.
I'll get the log we can check out.
Yeah, it's been a long day, hasn't it?
Yeah, you can say that again. A lot of walking. You want to check the book?
Yeah.
Anything?
Wait a minute. Yeah, Skipper wants to see us. He's in Thad Brown's office.
Yeah?
Friday?
Curie? What do you want?
I got something for you.
All right.
All right if I sit down?
Sure, go ahead.
It's a lousy deal, Friday. Lousy.
It is.
Worst. Sit in the can trying to figure out some way to keep him clean. They pull a stunt like this on me.
What are you talking about?
Well, you took the supply away from me last night. I had to make another connection this morning. As soon as I got out, I went over to see him. He treated me like I just got into town. Lousy.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't worth it. If you're going to act like that, it's going to cost him.
That so?
Yeah, you better call that Lucarelli. Is that his name?
That's right.
Yeah, get him over here. He's going to want to hear it, too.
Hear what?
I'm going to give you a chapter and verse on the whole deal.
Frank put in a call to Narcotics Division and asked Sergeant Roxy Lucarelli to come over to the office. It took him less than 5 minutes to get there. In the meantime, we briefly questioned Curie and found that he wanted to cooperate fully in the apprehension of the gang. When Roxy got there, we started to get the full story.
All right. What can you tell us about the robbery?
Nothing. I didn't have any part of it.
Where'd you get the M?
Picked it up in the bar.
You got the address?
Yeah, place down on 5th.
Who's your connection?
Guy named Corbett.
Got a first name for him?
Olin.
How's that go? O-L-A-N?
Yeah, I guess so.
When'd you make the buy?
Yesterday afternoon.
The whole vial?
Yeah.
Did you scratch up the label?
No, it was that way when I got it.
Did you know the stuff was stolen?
I put it down that I didn't ask for an original bill of sale.
What about this Corbett? What do you know about him?
Been hanging around the place a long time. I see him there all the time.
Ever been in trouble?
You mean with the cops?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess he's been picked up a couple of times for possession.
You ever done any time?
A couple months in the county jail.
Probation?
I think so. I never got in a big conversation with him about it.
You know where he got the stuff?
I can't pin it down for you.
Got an idea?
Well, it must be the bar. A lot of places there you can get connections.
You know who it could have been?
No.
Anybody around there got a lot of money that they can't explain?
Well, most of the customers will fit that.
You want to give us a description of this Corbett?
What's that for?
I'd like to check his record.
Oh. Well, let's see. I think he's about 45, maybe 46. Around in there someplace.
Yeah.
Guess he's about 160 pounds. 5'9", I think.
Go ahead.
Well, he's got kind of dark hair. Gray, in here. On the temples.
Yeah.
Like that.
Anything else about him?
Well, he's got a kind of limp. One leg is shorter than the other.
You know which leg it is?
No, I never paid any attention to it.
Ring any bells for you, Ross?
It might be. I think I know what he's talking about. I'll check R&I, Joe.
All right. How about it, Kiri? You know if any more of the stuff has been passed?
Well, I can't say for sure. This is the first bunch of it I bought. Guess there's some more of it that's been pushed. Well, it sure jolted me. I'm not used to that drugstore stuff.
You know anybody that's bought?
No.
How come the stuff you got wasn't cut?
I don't know. I guess somebody goofed. Sure made me sick.
What happened when you went back there today?
Well, I walked into the place. I figured to get something up. You'd have thought I was a cop.
All right.
Now, there wasn't anybody in the place that had anything to do with me.
Was Corbett there?
You mean this morning?
Yeah.
No, but at least I didn't see him.
Hold on a minute. Robbery Friday. In just a minute. Murphy? No, he's not here. Can I take a message? All right. I have it. I'll have him call as soon as he gets in. You bet. Did you hear anything about the robbery?
No, I didn't. A couple of small-type rumbles out, but nothing you can pin down.
What'd they say?
Just that there was a heist, no names used.
Anything on who's responsible?
I told you it was just a small rumble.
What do you figure about it?
Huh?
You got any ideas who might have done it?
Well, nothing you can take to court. I give you pretty short odds on Corbett, though.
You got any close friends around the place?
Oh, he knows everybody there.
You spend more time with anybody special?
No, he usually just comes in and sits around.
You got a job?
Not so it shows.
Where does he live?
He never told me.
Why'd you come in here, Kiri?
Huh?
What are you trying to build with us?
Nothing. I just got real hacked this morning with the way those guys shoved me around. I want to see them get what they got coming.
You don't want nothing for yourself?
Just to see them get paid.
You got any ideas how we can do that?
Yeah.
All right, we're waiting.
Let me nail them for you.
Spell it out.
Look, you can't get within 10 feet of them. The whole bar's hinky. Now, let me go in and get them.
We can't give you anything for it.
I'm not asking for anything. You just let me go along with you guys. Let me go in and blow the whistle on those guys who pull the heist.
Doesn't make a lot of sense, Kerry. You coming in here and wanting to help us. There's got to be something behind it.
And what's it going to cost you to find out? You're going to have a tail on me from the time I walk out of here. It's not going to do you any harm to let me go.
You're laying yourself right in the middle of the tracks, you know.
I know that, but it's worth it to see the expression on their faces when you kick the door in.
All right, we'll have to check it with the skipper.
Well, you go ahead. Guys, play it any way you want. Don't make a pound to me. If you want me on your side, I'm there.
What happens if they find out?
Send roses.
All right, Curie, we'll buy a piece of it. But I'm going to give you something going in.
What's that?
There'll be a lot of men working on this. If one of them gets in trouble over you, you better start running, because there isn't going to be a big enough handicap for you.
I'm not asking for one, am I?
If it works out, you'll get a piece of the credit. It'll go in the books that way, and that's all.
Well, it doesn't matter to me at all. All I want to see is for those guys to get theirs.
All right.
Well, this time I thought they were friends of mine, and they turn around and pull a stunt like this. It's pretty lousy.
Mm-hmm.
All I want is a connection. They got the stuff that isn't going to cost them anything.
No, you got it wrong there, fella.
Huh?
It's going to cost them. Frank came back from R&I with the information that the suspect, Olin Corbett, had a long record in Los Angeles, listing arrests for narcotics, suspicion of burglary, suspicion of robbery, and ADW. While Curie waited in the squad room, Lucarelli, Frank, and I talked with Captain Donahoe. We filled him in on what had happened. It was decided to accept Curie's offer of help. The next morning, Thursday, July 12th, we started the operation. An effort was made to find Olin Corbett without result. In order to make sure of the safety of our informant, it was arranged for an officer from Narcotics Division to be planted in the bar. One of the younger officers was chosen for the job, and at 10:05 a.m. he took up his position in the place. At 10:34 a.m., Frank and I, along with Lucarelli and Curie, got there. We parked down the street and let our contact out of the car. He walked down the block and entered the bar. 10 minutes later, he hurried back.
Looks like something's wrong.
Yeah.
You want to open the door, Frank?
Yeah.
What are you guys trying to pull?
What are you talking about?
You ain't much better than they are. A lousy thing all the way around. One thing I figured sure was I'd be able to trust
All right,
you
now
guys.
calm down, Curie, and tell us
What'd
what's
you
wrong.
plant the cop for in there?
What?
Cop in the bar. Why's he there?
What happened?
Everybody knows who he is. There isn't anything going on. What's the matter? Don't you trust me? Is that it?
We wanted to make sure you'd be able to walk out of the place, that's all.
Almost didn't work out that way. Guys in there playing for keeps. The whole place is wide for sound.
All right. And we've got to go after him a different way.
Gonna have to do it without me. After today, I don't dare go into the place. They all figure I brought the fuzz in.
You won't have to go back.
Well, thanks a lot. Well, it sure goes to show you.
What's that?
Play footsie with the cops, you're bound to get burned.
We appreciate what you did.
Well, a lot of good that does. The word gets out, I'm in big trouble. As soon as those guys find out I've been going with you, I've had it. Give me one good reason why you had to put the cop in there. What kind of insurance is that?
Yours.
Huh?
We're trying to keep you alive. We went back to the office and talked with Captain Donahoe. We told him what had happened. After conversations with Chief of Detectives Thad Brown and Captain Carl Shy, it was decided that the bar on 5th Street was important enough to warrant a 24-hour stakeout. The crime lab was contacted, and we asked their aid in arranging the surveillance. Lieutenant Lee Jones suggested a camera mounted in a delivery truck. We got in touch with one of the larger truck rental services in the city, and we got permission to use their equipment. It was decided that a panel truck parked a short distance from the bar could be used to observe both the front and rear entrances. A small slot was cut in the side of the truck so that a 16-millimeter camera could be used. Frank and I spent an hour with Lieutenant Jones going over the workings of the camera. The following morning, we took up our positions outside the bar. For the next 12 hours, we took pictures of everybody entering and leaving the place. Men from Narcotics Division relieved us during the nighttime hours. For 3 days, the surveillance continued without result. Hundreds of feet of film were exposed and processed. Still, we were no closer to apprehending the suspects. During this time, we hadn't seen Olin Corbett, the man who'd sold the morphine to Curie. Thursday morning, July 17th, Frank and I took up our positions in the truck.
You checked the camera this morning?
No. Luke said we probably have to put in a new film magazine, didn't he?
Yeah, better take care of it. You know how to do this?
Well, you were there when Lee explained it, weren't you?
Yeah, but I kind of forgot.
Well, that's good. Then I better know how, huh?
Yeah. Here's the film.
All right, let me take a look. Nothing to it. You just follow these lines here.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You want to throw that little catch there? No. This one. This one.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We go under that thing?
You want to do it?
No, go ahead, Joe. I think you're supposed to turn that little gizmo there, that one, to make sure you're threaded up all right.
No, you're wrong.
The little knob right over there.
You were wrong.
Aren't you going to turn it?
I'm going to turn it as soon as I get this threaded up. If you turn it now, you tear the film.
Yeah, but you're supposed to turn it.
We turn it after we thread it up.
Oh.
All right.
Well, I remember that you turned it.
You know you're a big help to me, Frank.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be another hot one.
It's hot in this truck, too.
Yeah. Had Faye pack a different lunch today.
Mm-hmm.
Chopped egg sandwiches and potato salad.
Mm-hmm.
Want one?
A little early, don't you think?
Oh, might be. Figured you might be a little hungry, though.
No, not right now. Frank.
Yeah.
Want to switch on the camera?
Huh? Got something?
Come here, take a look. No, up this way. See him come up the street?
No, where?
Right there, see?
Huh?
Just passing the bakery there.
Oh, yeah.
That looks like Corbett to me.
Yeah.
All right. He's going into the bar.
Yeah, first time we've seen him.
Mm-hmm.
Alone.
You better call Luke. Have him put a tail on the guy when he leaves.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Huh?
Corbett's coming out the side door.
Yeah, he's going back to that Cadillac.
You see that car pull in the alley?
No, it must have been while we were loading the cameras.
Oh.
Hey, wait a minute. There's a woman behind the wheel.
Oh, she's getting out. You getting everything there?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, you're not now. Why'd you stop?
Well, I just took my thumb off for a minute. I'll start it again.
Looks like she's giving Corbett something.
Yeah, small package.
We better have him picked up and see what it is.
As soon as he leaves, I'll get in touch with Luke.
Okay, cut the camera. That's enough. You better get on it. He's shoving off. Car's leaving, too.
You want to get the license number?
Yeah. It's 2 Victor 22876. Might be a break.
Yeah.
At least we know one thing.
Huh?
We got a contact.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
got in touch with the narcotics office and made arrangements for Corbett to be taken into custody. The arrest itself was made in such a way as to appear routine. A check of DMV gave us the name of the owner of the black Cadillac that we'd seen behind the bar. The car was registered to a Mrs. Beulah Pringle, 5742 Los Feliz Boulevard, legal the same. We ran the name through R&I, but we found no criminal record for her. The pictures we'd taken were processed and shown to the witnesses of the warehouse robbery. 2 of them positively identified Corbett as the lookout man on the job. Frank and I, along with Roxy Lucarelli, talked to him at the main jail, but he refused to give us any information regarding the holdup. He was booked on charges of robbery. For the next week, a constant surveillance was kept on the Pringle woman. All of the people she came into contact with were checked on. We made several attempts to search her home, but there was always somebody there. On Tuesday, July 24th, a week after we'd first observed her, she was seen at the bar again. This time, she passed a small package to one of the regulars of the place. He was taken into custody and found to have had a large quantity of pure morphine in his possession, but he refused to say where he'd gotten it. Without finding the cache of narcotics, there was little reason to take the woman into custody. On Wednesday, July 25th, we got word that she left her home. Frank and I drove out there and succeeded in making a complete search of the place, but we found nothing. A check of her car turned up none of the stolen narcotics. The surveillance continued. Another week passed. Wednesday, August 1st, she again made a meet and turned over a package of narcotics which we believed to have been taken in the robbery. After talking to the man we'd picked up, Frank and I met in the squad room.
He isn't going to give us anything.
No. Well, we'll talk to the DA's office in the morning, see what we can do.
There's got to be something about the Pringle woman that'll tell us where the narcotics are.
Well, you've been over all the information. Have you spotted anything?
No, but she's got to pick it up someplace.
Where?
I don't know. You got the list of places she goes to?
Yeah, in my locker. You want to get them? I'll check the book.
Yeah. Where are they, Joe?
Top shelf there. Should be on the left side.
Huh?
Top shelf on the left side, right in front of you there.
Oh, yeah, here I go. Anything on the book for us?
No.
Okay, let's go over these again.
All right. Here's a report from Roxy. This woman's got regular appointments at the beauty shop. She has her hair fixed on Thursdays.
It's her car service at the corner of Salmon Harbor.
Name of the market where she gets her groceries, her bank, the kid who delivers the morning paper. They've all been checked down.
What about a boyfriend?
Checked him way back. There's nothing there.
You know anything about her kids?
2 boys by a former marriage.
Uh-huh.
One's 10, the other's 12. They stay at the school in the valley. Address is on the report there.
Oh, yeah, here. Sees the kid about every week.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can say she's an attentive mother.
Well, maybe she's got another reason.
What do you mean?
A couple of days after she sees the kid, she makes a drop.
Yeah.
The way it looks, doesn't it, here?
Yeah.
Maybe she's got something besides kids over at that school. Frank and I made arrangements to search the room occupied by the Pringle youngsters. We drove out to the valley and talked with the head of the school. Without telling him what we were looking for, Frank and I got into the room and began to go over it. Anything in the closet?
Now, wait a minute. A couple of suitcases here. Looks like they're full of clothes.
Nothing in these drawers.
Hold it a minute, Joe.
Hmm?
The suitcase here looks like a makeup kit.
What's in it?
Oh, I can't tell. It's locked.
Let's see it.
What? Take a look.
Uh-huh.
You got anything I can use to open the case?
I'll try this.
Okay. Well, that does it.
Yeah.
Huh, take a look.
Mm-hmm.
Want to take it back to town?
You better and have the serial numbers checked.
Not much doubt, huh?
No, just about wraps it up, doesn't it? Let's bring the Pringle woman in and talk to her, see what she can come up with on this.
The way Roxy puts it, she's a pretty good talker.
It's going to have to be, isn't she? Frank and I left the school and drove back to the Los Feliz address. The black Cadillac was parked in the driveway. We told the maid who answered the door who we were and what we wanted. She showed us into the library of the house and asked us to wait while she went to get Mrs. Pringle.
It's quite a pad, huh, Joe?
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Clay's been after me to get one of these.
What's that?
See? One of these 3-dimensional viewers. You know, got little pictures in them. Clay says they're great for the kids.
Yeah.
Got all kind of pictures. Yosemite, Yellowstone. Pretty interesting. All in 3D, too.
Gentlemen, something you want to see me about?
We're police officers, Miss Pringle. Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
Yes, I know. What was it you wanted to see me about?
You know a man named Olin Corbett?
Corbett? No, I don't think so.
How about Peter Ulrich?
Nothing there either. You mind telling me what this is all about?
Why, that you know as well as we do, don't you?
This is some kind of a joke. I'm afraid I can't go along with it.
No, ma'am, it's no joke.
You're trying to say something. Why not stop going in circles and come right to the point?
All right. You're under arrest, Miss Pringle.
For what?
Robbery and narcotics.
Would you like to sit down?
No, thank you.
No.
Anything I can get for you? Drink, maybe?
No.
You must have some kind of evidence to make a charge like this.
We have.
You mind telling me what it is?
We've got motion pictures of you meeting the men that I mentioned. Pictures of you passing the narcotics to them. We checked your children's school. We found that makeup kit.
Not much doubt, then, is there?
No, ma'am.
Nothing I can do?
No. Get your coat.
I guess so.
Miss Pringle.
What?
This house and the car. You mind telling me why you went into a thing like this?
I guess it'd sound pretty silly to you. Right now, it's pretty well to me.
We'll listen if you want to tell us.
I divorced my husband several years ago, Mr. Smith. I got a good settlement, a lot of alimony. Gave me just about everything I wanted. Maybe it gave me too much. I didn't have anything to look forward to, nothing to act as a sort of challenge. You understand?
I guess so.
I met a man, nice enough guy. One thing led to another, and he suggested the robbery. Sounded like something to do, something so I wouldn't be bored anymore. That's why we did it. It wasn't the money with me. I guess it was with him.
You want to give us the name?
Yeah. Might as well. It's all finished now anyway.
All right. You want to get that coat now?
Yeah. How long will they send me to prison for?
Well, we wouldn't know. That's up to the judge.
I hear the place is a lot better than they used to be. Lots of things to do. Jobs so you can keep your mind occupied.
That's right. And you can be sure of one thing.
What's that?
You won't be bored.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On December 18th, trial was held in Department 97, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial. Norman Gerald Keary was tried and convicted of violation of the State Narcotic Act, a felony, 1 count. Olin Lambert Corbett, Beulah Valerie Pringle, and Peter Larson Ulrich were tried and found guilty of robbery in the first degree and violation of the State Narcotics Act, a felony. Robbery in the first degree is punishable by imprisonment in the state penitentiary for a period of not less than 5 years. Violation of the State Narcotic Act, a felony, is punishable by imprisonment for a period of from 5 years to life in the state penitentiary. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Dragnet.
You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to burglary detail. For the past several weeks, a gang has been breaking into neighborhood stores. Routine investigation fails to turn up any kind of a lead. Your job? Find one.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Tuesday, March 20th. It was cold in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of burglary detail. My partner is Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Bernard. My name's Friday. We were on our way out from the office, and it was 9:47 a.m. when we got to the 3rd floor of the Beryl Arms Hotel, room 314.
Sure dark.
Yeah. Want to try it again?
Yeah. Sounds like somebody's moving around.
Yeah.
Who is it?
You Jed Nagel?
Yeah, why?
Police officers would like to talk to you.
I ain't done nothing wrong. There's no reason to roust me.
You want to open the door?
All right. Come on in. I just got up.
Yeah. You alone?
Yeah, there's nobody else.
Right. Yeah.
That's the bathroom. I told you that there wasn't anybody else here.
Well, you don't mind if we look around, do you?
I do too, mind. I don't like you cops coming around. You're going to ruin my reputation. People in the building going to think you're friends.
Well, now, I'll tell you, we won't tell them if you don't.
What do you want, anyway?
We got a report that you were down on East 5th last night. Is that right?
Well, I don't know. All last night's kind of foggy. I don't remember where I was exactly.
Do you remember being downtown?
I told you I didn't. Why? What are you trying to lay off on me now?
Place is clean, Joe.
Well, I told you it was. Now you want to fill me in on what this is all about?
All right, we'd like to know what you were doing downtown last night.
Well, how do I know? I had it rough last night.
Anybody else along with you?
No, not that I remember.
You remember being near the Palace liquor store?
No, not right off. I might have checked in, though. I throw a lot of business their way. Well, why all the questions? Is there something wrong?
We'd like to have you tell us.
Well, I'd like to help out, but there ain't nothing I can do.
We got a field interrogation report that you were in the area. Police car stopped and shook you down. Isn't that right?
Shit. Ain't nothing new. I'm always getting stopped.
You ever been arrested?
Couple of times.
What charge?
Drunk.
At all?
Yes. Never stood anything heavier than drunk.
Ever do any big time?
No. A couple of months at Castell. Went up to, take the cure.
Didn't hold on, did it?
Well, no.
Never mind.
You don't happen to have an aspirin, do you?
No, we don't.
How about your friend here?
He said we didn't.
Oh, that's too bad. Sure could use one. Mind if I take a look in the bathroom? There might be something in there to take care of my head.
Sure, go ahead. We checked your record before we came up here.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Find out anything?
Enough to know there's a warrant on you.
For what?
Seems you got two wives back in Texas. They're both looking for you. All right, now come on. Get your clothes on.
Yeah. Do you want to tell me what this is really about?
What?
They didn't send two plainclothes cops down here to take me in on a bigamy charge. What's the real pitch?
There was a burglary last night. I wondered if you had anything to do with it.
Burglary?
That's right.
Not me. I haven't got the guts to get into something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what caused all the trouble with the women.
What's that?
Oh, them all the time tell me I should get off the dime and do something. Morning, noon, and night. All the time running off at the mouth about how I was lazy. You can't expect a man to take much of that.
Come on, get your clothes on.
You going to send me back to Texas?
We don't know what's going to happen. We just have to take you in.
Gee, I sure hope I don't go back. Woman's nothing but trouble, mister, nothing else. You remember it.
Must not bother you much.
Huh?
You married two of them. Jed Nagel was taken to the main jail and held for the Texas authorities. A check of his actions on the previous night showed that he couldn't have committed the burglaries. 11:30 a.m. Frank and I checked with the office, and then we went over to the crime lab. Ray Pinker was just finishing up his investigation.
Morning, Joe.
Right.
How's it going, Ray? Yeah, just wrapping it up.
You got anything for us?
Same as you had on the last three jobs. Here, pictures are there. Take a look.
Well.
Oh, they're still a little damp.
Yeah. This is the entrance, huh?
Yeah. They went through the wall from the barber shop into the bar.
How'd they get in there?
Barber shop?
Yeah.
Used a jimmy on the back window. Climbed in, went to work on the wall.
Wonder why they didn't go right into the bar.
The place is covered by an alarm system, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Here. This is the box inside.
Yeah.
If they turned it off after they got into the place.
You get any prints?
No. Went over all the windows, safe, bar itself. Didn't turn up anything you used.
What about the men themselves? Can you give us anything on them?
Must have been at least two of them. Might have been three.
How'd you come up with that?
Footprints.
Oh.
They kicked up a lot of plaster when they went into the place. A lot of dust around. One of them wore a size 9 shoe, and the other one had a size 7.5 foot.
Where'd you get the third man?
A lot more of the smaller impressions. Either the little guy jumped around more, or else there was someone to help make the prints.
Mm-hmm. Anything else, Ray?
We got some good pictures of Jimmy marks in the barber shop. If you come up with a tool, we'll be able to match it for you.
What about the safe, Ray?
Punch job. No class there.
Anything on it?
Mm-mm. How much they take this time?
Owner guesses at about 5,000, wasn't it, Frank?
Yeah. Gives them a total of what?
Well, according to our figures, a little over 12 since they started working.
Scoring good.
Better than they think.
Huh?
We've just about run out of leads. Frank and I have been all over town trying to scratch something up. None of them work out.
Gotta be one someplace.
Yeah, Skipper keeps telling us that. Corner pocket's on his back.
Bound to be.
Yeah, I guess so. Doesn't make it any easier on us, though.
You signed the application.
Yeah, well, thanks, Ray. Anything turns up, give us a call, will you?
Sure, Joe. Isn't likely, though. You've had it. You going back to the office?
Yeah, staff's office should have those cards for us by now.
Okay, hope they point somewhere.
Yeah, you better get in line, huh?
Take it easy, Ray. Yeah. Drop around sometime. I'll pop for a lunch.
When we get this one cleaned up, we'll buy.
You got a deal. My wife will go for that.
What?
She's been after me to lose some weight.
Uh-huh.
Looks like it'll be a long diet.
Frank and I went back to City Hall and checked with the stats office. In the runs they'd made, they came up with cards on 7 men who were known to have used the same method of operation in committing burglaries. We checked the list through R&I. 3 of the possibles were still serving sentences in San Quentin. 1 of them had died, and 2 were in eastern jails. The 7th, a Norris Pauly, had a record listing 4 arrests and 1 conviction. His address was given as 4622 50th Street. We left the office and went out to check on him. The register listed him as living in apartment 12. We walked upstairs.
Should be on the left, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, here it is.
Let me try it again.
Yeah.
Just a minute. Yeah.
Like to see Norris Pauly?
In here.
Where is he?
Don't see where that's any business of yours.
Police officers.
What do you want to see Norrie about?
Better if we talk to him about that.
Suit yourself. Don't make any difference to me.
You mind if we come in?
You can talk right out there in the hall.
All right, Miss Pauly, open that door.
Take a jump.
Sadie, what's all the noise?
Lady, either you open that door or we will.
See it,
All right, get out of the way, lady.
Oh!
All right, Pauly, hold it right there.
You get out of here. You got no right to break in here like this.
Oh, will you shut up, Sadie?
I'm trying to do you a favor. Look what thanks I get.
Well, who asked you? Now, go on, get out of here.
Last time I tried to do anything for you. Last time!
Yeah, sure. Bye. Real harpy. Always trying to take care of me. Real harpy.
All right.
You know, she means good, but she doesn't know how to carry it off. Always trying to protect me.
Yeah.
What do you want to see me about?
I want to ask you a couple of questions.
Sure, I'll go along with you. No reason for me not to. What do you want to know?
How come you're home?
Where'd you expect to find me?
You're on parole, aren't you?
Well, you knew that before you asked the question.
Supposed to have a job?
Yeah, I got one.
How come you're not working today?
Oh, I see what you're getting at. I got a cold kind of virus infection. Figured I'd take the day off, get it all cleared up. I was in bed when you got here. That's the reason I had all the trouble.
Your employer know where you are?
Well, sure. I called him and told him. I'm not trying to pull any deals. I've been punching the clock since I got out. I want to keep it that way.
Where do you work?
Parking lot downtown. Not killing the world, but I'm paying the rent. I got no beef.
How do you spend your off time?
What do you mean?
When you're not working, what do you do?
Mostly sit around the house, watch the TV.
You go out night?
No, not much. Maybe every couple of weeks, Sadie and me go down to the Mexican place on the corner, have dinner, take in the show. That's about it.
You been out this week?
What night?
Tell us about all of them, will you?
No go. I've been home every night.
Can you prove that?
Well, do I have to?
It'll make you look better.
Well, ask Sadie. She'll tell you. We've been home together every night, just sitting here watching the TV.
What time do you go to work?
I check in about 7.
When you quit?
4:30. Once in a while, if it's crowded, I stay over.
You work late this week?
No, you can check that with the boss. He'll tell you.
All right, we will.
Well, what's this all about, huh? You guys are after something, aren't you?
That's right.
Well, why don't you tell me what it is? I hear stuff once in a while. Might be able to help you out.
You see the old crowd anymore, Norris?
Well, once in a while they walk down the street. They nod, I nod. Nothing more.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what are you after?
Tunnel jobs.
You figured I might have a piece of that action, huh?
Matches the way you work?
No, it doesn't fit. I told you I've been with the bucket since I got out. Even with taxes, I make more.
You heard anything about who's working?
Doesn't go out of this room?
We won't take it.
Okay. The boys found out I was giving you information. My insurance premiums sure go up real fast.
Well, don't you worry about it. Now, what do you know?
Word's around there's 2 guys.
We had that going in.
They pulled 3 jobs.
Well, they made it 4.
No, I don't know about the other one.
It'll be in the papers.
Uh-huh.
You got a name?
No, just heard that they were working.
Where'd you hear?
A fella down on 7th. He sells papers down there. We have a cup of coffee once in a while, he told me.
You know where we can get in touch with him?
Yeah, but it'd be better if you didn't, though. It'll lead right back to me. Sadie? Hey, wait a minute, honey. Where you going with the suitcase?
I'm leaving you.
Oh, come on. Isn't anything serious?
You don't ever talk to me. Try to do you a favor and you take their side. I've had it from you, bum.
Oh, come on, Sadie. Don't be sore.
Take your hand off of me.
Baby, please, don't be sore.
I'm going to tell you once more. Take your hand off of me.
Look, I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings, Sadie. What you going to hit me for?
Because you're a bum. Don't go trying to get me to come back to you. I'm through this time.
It's too bad, Paulie.
No, it isn't. I've been trying to figure some way to get her to walk out since I got out of jail. Never been able to do it. I sure ain't sorry. I ought to buy you guys a drink for taking care of it for me.
Yeah.
Only one thing that worries me is her big mouth. She's always talking.
Mm-hmm.
She might have heard me say I'd give you a hand. She blabs that around. I'm in real trouble.
You didn't give us any names.
That doesn't make any difference. She gets to talking. She'll have me telling you the name of every hoodlum in town. Whether that gets around, I'm a gone duck. I got to get after her. Yeah, Sadie and her big mouth. You're going to get me in trouble.
Well, it makes you even then, doesn't it?
Huh?
Yours kept you out of it. Before we left the apartment, we checked Paulie's story and verified the fact that he was not implicated in the burglaries. We drove down to the corner of 7th and Wild. We found the newsman Norris Pauly had told us about. We talked to him for about 15 minutes before we were able to convince him that he wouldn't get into trouble by giving us the information that he had. He told us what he knew about the tunnel burglaries. He was unable to give us the name of the suspect that he had in mind, but he did give us a description and the nickname Kiko. With this information, we returned to the city hall and checked the moniker file. There were several Kikos listed, but only two that matched the description. The first one checked out clean. The second, a Franklin James Wig, WMA, 33 years old, had done time in the state penitentiary as a cat burglar. We contacted the state authority and found that Zweig was on active parole. From them, we got his address and we went out to see him. It was a small one-story modern house built in the early 30s. The chrome railing up the front stairs was rusty and the paint on the front of the building was peeling. We rang the bell and waited.
Yep. Your name's Wig?
Yeah, that's right.
Police officers. This is Sergeant Joe Friday. My name's Smith.
What do you want me to do?
Why don't you ask us in?
That's all I was saying to you. I don't want to get the carpets dirty. Let's talk on it.
Come on, mister. Get your coat.
What
I
for?
want to talk to you.
About what?
We'll tell you about it downtown.
You make a charge or I ain't leaving the house.
All right, suspicion of burglary.
You're going to drag that up again.
We don't make the rules.
Good time once in your life and the cops never get off your back.
You should have thought of that going in.
What good would it do? You cops never learn.
Well, you're not much of an example, are you?
What's that mean?
You're probably going back for another course. Before we took the suspect downtown, we made a thorough search of his home. We found nothing to tie him in with the burglary. He was taken to the squad room and questioned for over an hour. During that time, he'd say nothing. He was booked in at the main jail, and Frank and I checked out of the office. The next day, Wednesday, March 21st, we had him brought from his cell. We talked to him in the interrogation room of the main jail.
How long you guys think you're going to be able to hold me?
Depends on when you decide to talk.
Tell you what, cop, I'll make a deal with you.
No deals.
What do you mean?
We don't want you. We want the guy who engineered the burglaries.
Well, then why don't you let me go now?
Want to make sure the story gets a play in the papers.
Well, what's that going to prove?
Your friend will get worried. We'll figure you're going to talk.
Look, if I was mixed up in anything, I'm not one way or the other, but if I was, why should he get worried?
Word's out that he's the brains.
Well, where's that from?
All over town.
It's not true.
The way we got it, stories around, you went along for the ride. Other fellow did all the brain work.
Who said that?
Everybody was talked to.
Well, then if everybody's talking about him, why ain't he here instead of me?
Because he's a smart one of the pair. Somebody's got to fall. Might as well be you. He can pick up another partner.
You telling me the real scam?
That's the way we get it.
Not true.
Oh, we only got your word for that. All I know is if I ever get in trouble, I'd want to make sure I had a pigeon waiting to take the beef. You're here, he's out. Now you tell me who's smart.
How'd you get to me?
It was in the books.
Not like this. I fell for cat burglary. Nothing to do with tunnel jobs. Somebody had to blow the whistle.
That's so?
Sure. You had no call to pick me up. Just right out of left field, you walk in. Who did it? Who made the call? Somebody did, huh? Somebody pointed me out. Come on, I know who it was. You ain't going to get him in trouble telling me. Somebody told you, didn't they?
That's right.
Oh, fits real good. Well, I tell you this, cop, I ain't that dumb. A lot of things I've done that I don't want anybody to know about, but I never blew the whistle on a friend. That's one thing I didn't do.
Mm-hmm.
All that stuff about him being the brains, there's a lot of coconuts. He can't get into a phone booth without help. I figured the whole deal. It was me who said we'd had it and ought to stop. He wanted to keep going. That's why I left.
When was this?
Night before last. After we got through, he was sore because there was only a little over $4,000 in the box. We heard there was around 10.
Yeah.
He said he wanted to make a big score before we quit. Said to go together on one more. Told me what he wanted to do. I wanted no part of it. The guy's off his rocker. I left.
What's he got in mind, you know?
Wants to tunnel into a bank.
You are listening to Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action.
We continued to talk to Franklin Zweig. From him, we got a complete description of the second suspect and the name Lester Kroll. We checked the name through R&I, and we came up with a record for him. Listed were several arrests for purse snatching and suspicion of assault. In spite of the arrest, Kroll hadn't served any time in jail. We showed the mug shot in the package to Zweig, and we got a positive identification. We asked the suspect in custody where Kroll lived. He gave us an address on South Figueroa, but when we checked there, we found that Kroll had left without giving a forwarding address. We talked to all of the people listed in this package as having known the suspect. None of them could or would tell us where the man was. We questioned Franklin Zweig further, but he was unable to tell us what bank Kroll had in mind. We contacted Vern Alm of the Bank of America, Frank Stump of the Security First National, and other special agents of Southern California banks. They in turn notified the branch managers to be on the lookout for evidence of Kroll working in their neighborhoods. Special M.O. bulletins were put out to all officers in the city giving particulars on the methods the suspect was known to use. In addition to these, local broadcasts and APBs were gotten out on all suspects. For a week, the search dragged on. During that time, there were no further reports of attempted tunnelings and no sign of Lester Kroll. Friday, March 30th, 8:01 a.m. I checked into the office. Frank was waiting for me.
Morning, old buddy.
Hi, Frank.
Beautiful day, huh?
No, it's a little cold out.
Yeah, but it doesn't make any difference to you, huh, old buddy?
No, it doesn't.
You feel any different?
Hmm?
You feel any different today than you did yesterday?
Are you all right?
Never felt better. How about you, old buddy?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Hey, just a minute. I know what's wrong.
You do, huh?
Yeah. You didn't think I'd forget, did you?
Listen, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Ah, come on, old buddy. Just a minute. I'll get it. Got it right over here, right up on the top shelf. I brought it in myself. Here you are, Joe. Wrapped it myself, too. Looks pretty good, huh?
Yeah, I guess it does.
I didn't have nothing to put on the top, so I found a couple of Christmas tree ornaments. Put them on with a ribbon.
Yeah, it's nice.
Come on. Dig down in there.
Well, what is it?
Go ahead, open it up. Got him yesterday after lunch. Thought I wasn't ever going to get you out of the way. Remember when I told you I was going out to buy a new hat? Remember?
You know, Frank, I think maybe you made a little mistake.
Oh, just take the top right off the box, Joe. Open it right up.
All right. There.
What do you think?
Well, they're very nice, Frank.
Hey, you bet. Fleece lined slippers. Got a pair myself. Greatest thing in the world, a cold morning. Keep your feet warm, Joe. Fleece is warm, you know.
Yeah.
I got a pair myself.
Mm-hmm.
See the card? There's a card there. Open it up. Go on, read it. Go ahead.
Out loud?
Sure.
This is the day that comes once a year, the day your face does shine. A happy day for one and all. Because today you're 9.
Doesn't match too good, I guess. It's all I had at the shoe store. Happy birthday, Joe.
You know, I just don't know what to say, Frank.
Well, I know how you feel, old buddy. I understand you're all kind of choked up, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I am. This isn't my birthday, you know.
How you choked up? Huh?
This is not my birthday, Frank.
Well, that's the 30th, isn't it? March 30th?
Yeah. My birthday's August 30th.
Now, wait a minute, buddy. It can't be. I got it right here in my little book. Wait a minute. See? See right here? March 30th. Joe's birthday. I wrote that myself. You know my handwriting. March 30th.
Yeah, you got the date right, but it's not mine.
You kidding me?
Frank, I know my own birthday.
Huh. It's funny. Must be somebody. Who do I know named Joe?
I got it.
Joe.
Burglary Friday. Yes,
March
sir.
30th.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
March 30th.
Where is that? I see. All right, sir. We'll be right out. Yes, sir. Right away. Come on, old buddy. We got one to roll on.
August 30th. Huh?
I say we got to roll. Let's go. Barry over at the street department. We got a call this morning.
Yeah.
Looks like somebody's trying to dig a tunnel in the storm drain. Frank and I left the office and we drove over to the corner of Silver Lake Boulevard and McCollum Street. We met with Barry Falcon of the street department. He led us to a manhole in the middle of the intersection. He told us that there had been numerous complaints from citizens in the area that the cover on the outlet kept rattling. When the street department checked it, they found that the cushioning material around the metal plate had been removed. It was replaced, but the next day there were several more calls. When the neighbors were questioned, they told of a man who arrived in a pickup truck about 2:30 in the morning. He'd lift the cover and enter the storm drain. Before the daylight hours, he'd leave and he'd drive away. From the description they gave, it was possible that the repairman was from the street maintenance department, but a check of their records showed that no crews were working in that area. After talking with Falcon, Frank and I climbed down the ladder into the drain. We walked about 20 feet up the tunnel, and we found the reason that we'd been called.
Barry tell you what's over us?
Well, near as we can figure, it's the vault in the bank, isn't it?
Sure isn't kidding.
Take a look over here. Got all the equipment, lamps, couple of drills.
Yeah, but he's not going to be able to use them unless he ties into an electric line someplace.
I probably figured he'd run into one.
Mm-hmm. Hey, what's that over there in the corner?
We'll take a look.
Can you see it?
No, better leave it alone.
What do you got?
He's got it all figured.
What do you mean?
The bottle over there?
Yeah.
Looks like nitroglycerin. The people in the immediate vicinity were shown the mugshots of Lester Kroll, who was positively identified as the man who had worked in the storm drain. We asked about the truck, but none of the people could give us a good description of it. The employees in the bank were cautioned, and Frank and I arranged for a 24-hour surveillance to be set up on the storm drain outlet. 2 days passed without activity. And then on Monday, April 3rd, we waited in our car down the street from the intersection. 2:20 a.m.
Have a cup of coffee, Joe?
Yeah, wouldn't be bad.
Boy, it sure gets cold this time in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Say, I finally figured it out.
What do you mean?
Who Joe was.
What's that?
Here. Scott's hot.
Yeah, thank you.
Joe. You know the name of my book, The Birthday?
Oh, yeah.
It's our mailman. It's our mailman. It was his birthday.
Oh.
I got him one of those cards that says, "We're sorry we forgot." You know the kind.
Mm-hmm.
We gave him the card and a carton of cigarettes. Old Joe sure got a kick out of it.
Yeah.
Sure gets cold this time in the morning.
Take a look.
Yeah, I see it.
Parking there. You see his face?
Not from here. When he gets out.
Look at that. He even got a hook for the manhole cover.
How do you like that?
Watch it now. He's going under the light.
It's him.
Yeah. All right, let's let him get down in the storm drain. That way we'll be able to get him while he's working.
Right.
Let him get in there.
Okay.
Okay, let's go. You want to give me a hand with the cover?
Yeah.
Let's go.
All right.
Okay. Hold it up a minute. Give him a chance to get to work.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, let's go. Come on.
Right. Sure not wasting any time.
Probably figures I'm making a break this morning.
Uh-huh.
Take it easy now.
Right. He's seeing good now.
He's sure going after it. All right, come on, let's take him.
All right.
Come on. How about it?
He's dead.
Look at that. See up there? He ran into one of the power lines into the bank.
Yeah, he almost made it, Joe. A couple of more inches, he'd have gotten in.
Yeah?
He must have figured wrong someplace. Made a mistake somewhere.
Yeah, when he bought that drill.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On August 16th, trial was held in Department 97, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial. Franklin James Weig was tried and convicted of burglary in the second degree, 3 counts, and received sentence as prescribed by law. Burglary in the second degree is punishable by imprisonment for a period of not less than 1, nor more than 15 years in the state penitentiary. At a coroner's inquest, the death of Lester Bruce Kroll was found to be accidental, occurring while in the commission of a felony. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department.